Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet.
Gunsmoke. The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We've got fun on this Saturday with crime. Edward Pawley in Big Town. Also Jack Webb in an episode of Dragnet. Orson Welles in The Lives of Harry Lime. The FBI in Peace and War. And Claudia. That's all straight ahead on this Saturday. Do you remember this is the 21st day of September? Yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire made this day popular. The 265th day of the year, 101 days remaining till we get to 2025. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. That letter published on this date in 1897 in the New York Sun, which has now moved on to, well, other places. The Great Hurricane of 1938 made landfall on Long Island in this date. The death toll estimated at 500 to 700 people. Perry Mason premiered on this date in 1957 on CBS. It spelled the end of Fort Laramie. It was a great Western show that Raymond Burr starred in, and Burr said, I wish we could invent more hours in the day or put a recorder in the car or something, because I don't have the time to do the show. The number one record on this date in 1959 belonged to two brothers, last name Farina, first names Santo and Johnny. They couldn't sleep one night after playing a gig. They started jamming, and that jam became Sleepwalk, the number one song on this date in 1959. Monday Night Football premiered on this date in 1970 on ABC. Cleveland Browns beat the New York Jets 31-21. Amid accusations of scandal and corruption prior to taking office, Burt Lance resigned as the director of the Office of Management and Budget.
Because of the amount of controversy and the continuing nature of it, I have decided to submit my resignation as director of OMB. I desire to return to my native state of Georgia.
Now, the mismanagement and corruption when Lance was chairman of the board at the Calhoun First National Bank forced the resignation. Now, in a 1980 trial, Lance was acquitted. The timing of the charge is bad following the Nixon-Ford debacle. In 1981, Sandra Day O'Connor, the first female Supreme Court justice, confirmed by the Senate on this date in 1981 in a 99-0 vote.
As a judge, it is not my function to continue to try to develop public policy by means of making the law. It is simply my role to interpret the laws which the legislature has passed.
I don't care who was president. I don't care who was the justice. You would not see a 99-0 vote today. She served from this date in 1981 until January of 2006, serving on the court for nearly a quarter of a century. In 1983, speaking to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Secretary of the Interior James Watt put the last nail in his political coffin with this statement about a coal leasing panel.
I've appointed the Lenos Commission, 5 members, 3 Democrats, 2 Republicans. Every kind of mix you can have. I have a black, I have a woman, two Jews, and a cripple. And
Watt resigned days later, considered the most anti-environmental Secretary of the Interior in history, and probably one of the most dumb. You don't say crap like that. You really don't. Hurricane Hugo made landfall in South Carolina on this date in 1989. 1996, the Defense of Marriage Act passed Congress, 342 to 67 in the House, 85 to 14 in the Senate. The law prohibited, and this was in 1989, federal recognition of same-sex marriage while allowing states to adopt any marital definition of their choosing. Now the Act's provisions ruled unconstitutional or left unenforceable by Supreme Court decisions in 2013 and 2015. In 1998, Bill Clinton's grand jury testimony about his relationship with the young female assistant Monica Lewinsky released to the public. The people were treated to seeing the president make such compelling statements as, "It depends on what the meaning of the word is." It was not President Clinton's shining moment. In 2001, America, a tribute to heroes broadcast by over 35 network and cable channels, raising over $200 million for the victims of the September 11 attacks. 2008, Mad Men became the first basic cable show to win a top series Emmy Award. And of course, as I said, this is 21st of September, and Earth, Wind & Fire's popular song. The date September 21 is mentioned in the lyric. Do you remember 21st night of September? And it has become very, very reminiscent. Passing away on this date in history, actor Walter Brennan, author, actress Jacqueline Suzanne, sprinter Florence Griffith Joyner, actress Alice Ghostley, probably best remembered for her roles in Bewitched. Also, evangelist TV host Rex Humbard. Birthdays on this date include writer H.G. Wells, composer Gustav Holst. His Planets piece is well remembered by many. Animator Chuck Jones from Looney Tunes. Rocky and Bullwinkle animator Jay Ward. Actor Larry Hagman, Jr., and from I Dream of Jeannie as well. Singer-songwriter Leonard Cohen. His songs still resonate to this day. By Henry Gibson. Henry Gibson, born on this date. And pro wrestler Jack Briscoe, all born on this date in history.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
You know him from the A&E channel and from decades. I remember him most from his time in Topeka, Kansas, where he was on television there. And in the 1966 Topeka tornado, he said something that we had never heard up to that point. A professional journalist said, he looked into the camera and said, "For God's sakes, take cover." And there's no idea how many lives he saved on that day. Bill Curtis, 84 years old today. Jerry Bruckheimer, the producer, 81 years old today. From Fried Green Tomatoes, the author, Fannie Flagg, 80 years old today. Remember her from Match Game. Also, author Stephen King is 77. The Eagles' Don Felder is 77. Bill Murray is 74 today.
For a moment, pretend that I don't know anything about metallurgy, engineering, or physics, and just tell me what the hell is going on.
Bill Murray, 74 today. From Full House, Cut It Out, Dave Coulier is 65. From Swing Out Sister, one of my favorites, Corinne Drury, 65.
Dreams that we were searching for, they don't matter anymore. Here's one more for the road, then I'll be gone. Hey, 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 heading is anybody's guess. Hey, 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 all that's left is one big beautiful mess.
From their 9th studio album, Beautiful Mess, Swing Out Sister, 65 today. That's from back in 2008. And I have loved them since their first album. Corinne Drury, 65 today. From Northern Exposure and Numbers, Rob Morrow is 62. Oh, Faith Hill, 57 today.
1998. It's the way you love me. It's a feeling like this. It's centrifugal motion. It's perpetual bliss. It's that pivotal moment. It's unthinkable. This kiss, unsinkable. This kiss.
Probably her biggest hit, This Kiss. Faith Hill, 57 today. Ricky Lake, 56 today. Carlton on The Fresh Prince. He's also on Game Show Network and doing a show called Catch 21. Alfonso Ribeiro, 53. It's not unusual. It's hard to think of Alfonso Ribeiro doing the Carlton. But, there you go. Also, Oasis's Liam Gallagher is 52. And boy, the Oasis getting back together is causing a big stir, isn't it? Actress Nicole Richie, the adopted daughter of Lionel Richie, 43 today.
My hair looks so amazing!
Nicole Richie, 43 today. Violinist Lindsey Sterling, 38 years old, and she has such an amazing following. I have never been one to be big on strings, but my gosh, she certainly does do it, doesn't she? And the singer Jason Derulo is 35. Those are just a few of the people who celebrate the 21st day of September as their birthday. If this is your birthday.
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say happy birthday to you.
Before we get to Big Town, we're going to take a look at the mailbag, and we'll do that in just a moment here on this Saturday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Congress is poised to pass a bill to keep AM radio in cars, but time is running out. 82 million Americans risk losing the news, sports, talk, traffic, and vital emergency information they rely on. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to pass this bill now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
I need to also probably put a separate video out on this so it doesn't get, or podcast out on this, at least, or separate video to our Facebook people, or YouTube people, because a lot of you know that YouTube blocks a lot of stuff they shouldn't. They block many of our shows. And the reason that they do that is because they have this AI-based copyright strike system, which blocks a lot of our videos. Which is all fair use, but they don't care. They block it anyway. So let's go through some of your comments here, and a lot of these are coming from Facebook. If you want to email us, you can do that. classicradiotheater@gmail.com. That information is also at our webpage, classicradio.stream. Diana, that is ironic of how tobacco is bad and pot is legal in some places. Time changes people. In the early 19th century, it was considered healthy to be plump. And it probably in some places still is. It just depends on what you're putting in your body to make you plump. CJ, it's pretty funny to look back at these old cigarette commercials. I always crack up over more doctors smoke Camels. You are right about the hypocrisy regarding addictive substances. Great piece of social history. That's what we try to do here, is put things in perspective. Mr. Steve, hybrid is the way to go. I had made comments about electric cars and how if I was going to buy a new car, I would not buy an electric, I would buy a hybrid. And that's probably true. Alan, thank you for mentioning wrestling. You're very knowledgeable on the topic. Keep up the good work. I mentioned pro wrestling earlier. I did not mention that we were talking about Jack Briscoe's birthday on this date. He is a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion back in the days when they were working 300 nights a year. CJ, thank you for mentioning Bill Cullen. He was superb on I've Got a Secret as well. Love Irene Dunn. Not many remember her since a lot of her best films were remade. So many good actors and actresses get lost to time. I love Fred Allen, and I think he was in many ways funnier than Jack Benny. But we forget him so much, just because so many of his humor was so topical to the time, and Jack's were more evergreen. I love Raymond Burr on this series, referencing Fort Laramie. CBS had two of the most unlikely cowboy cavalry types in Mr. Burr and Bill Conrad. Oh, those poor imaginary horses. I'm not sure what he's talking about here, but thanks for applauding this. It's great. Let's see. Chris, please bring it back to radio. Even if I wanted to now, it would be next to impossible to bring classic radio theater back to the airways. I would need 2 full-time employees, and I would need about 4 times the amount of money that we had to put into it at the time, because the people who control satellite syndication and radio syndication have made it nearly impossible. And I really can't do it. I appreciate the thoughts. Please enjoy the podcast while we do it. Going back to the 31st. Yeah, when I was doing the August 31st show, and for some reason I went from August 30th to September 1st, and at the last minute I'm going, wait a minute, there's the 31st? I threw together a show at the last minute. I could not do that on radio. I really couldn't. Anytime Agnes Moorehead's involved, it's going to be superb. I enjoy the news, especially because you keep to the period. I can only imagine what happened if somebody referred to Reds today. Wonderful broadcast, my friend. Oh, I could say so much, but I'm going to keep politics out of this. Melanie, thank you. Chuckles, thank you. And thanks for the clip of Reverend King. It was great to hear this piece of history in the context of the times. Joseph Kearns was everywhere on radio. I loved him as Jack Benny's vault guard. Oh, that was always such a great piece of work. That was always so much fun. And love the Conelrad PSAs. In realizing, and I've talked about what Conelrad was, back in the 60s, and we may not realize this today, back before satellites, the only navigation you had were radio waves, terrestrial radio waves. And so you had these big, powerful radio stations, and depending on where they were on the dial, planes could use those to navigate by. And that was one of the things that they feared. So what the grand scheme of Conelrad was to put all the radio stations, in case of an emergency, on either 640 or 1240. Not all the stations. A lot of them signed off. Every town may have had one on 640 or one on 1240, which at the time, because everything, you didn't have electronic tuning like you do now. You had to change crystals and retune stuff so you didn't blow up transmitters, and you had to reduce power, and it was a nightmare. And it didn't really work as it would have gotten us by, but it didn't work as well as they wanted it to. The Tuesday Weld story is a sad one. It really is. I still have a crush on Thalia Menninger. That was the role she played in The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis. And the Frank Graham story is a tragic one. It truly was a very, very sad story. It was as sad a story as Sam Buffington that we've talked about before. Another fine actor who was just finding his niche, and for whatever reason, he did Luke Slaughter of Tombstone, that short-run series, and he was getting there. He was starting to get his traction in the business, in show business, and he committed suicide. And Frank Graham, another one, although his was, as we understand, romantic related, but that was sad. Anyway, that is a look at so many of you have commented on, and we answer your comments here as we get a time every so often. If you want to email us, you can email us through our webpage, classicradio.stream. If you're listening on the Tuba Views, which, by the way, not only pays us nothing for these broadcasts, all the other podcasts, we get a slight amount of remuneration, but we get nothing from YouTube, and that's just because YouTube's system is screwy as hell. If you could either listen to us on the other stuff, or leave comments, let us know what you think of the show, share our stuff, and by all means, if you want to go to classicradio.stream, we got a few things there for sale, and if you could buy me a coffee, that would be nice as well. Okay, coming up next, Edward Pawley, Big Town, Lifebuoy Soap.
This is Dennis James. Civil defense preparedness is important to all of us living in today's nuclear age. For information on what you can do to protect your home and family, here is a message about Conelrad from Leo A. Hoig, Director of the Office of Civil and Defense Mobilization.
Radio beams can help guide enemy planes or missiles to their target. Yet during a war, information would be urgently needed by the public. This is the reason for Conelrad. When Conelrad goes into effect, all radio and television stations will sign off the air. In a few minutes, the Conelrad radio stations will return to the air over either 640 or 1240. In case of attack, all other stations will be off the air. You will not be able to get information over your telephone. Only Conelrad at these frequencies, 640 or 1240, on your radio will give you official information and instructions.
Keep your eyes open to our pages, because what I am going to do is I'm going to put up, I've got a couple of shows about Conelrad, and we will put those up on our under a separate podcast, either on our page here or also possibly on Wyatt's Favorite Radio, that podcast. But we will do them because I think it's interesting when you hear, at least there was logic behind it and there was an attempt. Okay, let's go back 76 years here. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. September 21st, 1948. Edward Pawley starring in Big Town and The Final Payment.
Lifebuoy Health Soap presents Big Town.
Extra, extra, hero about the final payment. Steve Wilson's headline story brought to you by Lifebuoy Health Soap. The soap that gets skin cleaner in your daily bath. Extra, extra.
Yes, Lifebuoy Health Soap presents Big Town. The headline stories of a great city, dramatically reported by Steve Wilson, fighting managing editor, whose creed, as with all great newsmen, is emblazoned on the masthead of the Illustrated Press.
The power and the freedom of the press is a flaming sword, that it may be a servant of all the people. Use it justly, hold it high, and guard it well.
Now, Big Town, and tonight's story of a vicious racket of modern ghouls, trading on tragedy and sorrow. The Final Payment. No sensational headline yarn for Steve Wilson and his Illustrated Press. This story of a vicious, widespread, but little publicized racket began in a cheap rooming house headquarters of Malcolm Todd and his embittered, red-headed accomplice, Ginger. Began one evening not long ago.
Well, so you got back, Ginger. Congratulations.
Lay off the sarcasm, Mel. I've covered every pawn shop in this section of Big Town and my feet hurt.
How many watches did you get?
About a dozen, but I had to pay $5 for some of them.
Okay. We'll still make a slick profit once I get the initials of today's crop of dead ones cut on the back.
Look, Mal, I'm getting sick of this peanut racket. Rooking the relatives of a lot of dopes that ain't even been buried yet.
I told you it's just till we get a stake, get organized, and go big time. Line up a mob, work with a real racket.
Yeah, that's what you said in Chicago 6 months ago. But things got hot and we had to beat it. And the same thing happened in Cleveland.
Well, it ain't gonna happen in Big Town. We're going to make a killing as soon as we can line up with a real racket.
So why don't we get right into some racket that pays off in something more than 3 squares and bus fare to the next town when the local flats start breathing down our
I
heads.
keep telling you, Ginger, it's only till we can hook up with some local mob that's got connections and protection. Now quit beefing and pack up them watches.
Yeah, sure. We got to catch the widows and relatives and collect for the handsomely initialed watches. Well, I'm sick of it. Fed up.
Oh, shut up and get to work. That kind of attitude ain't going to get you diamonds and mink coats.
At the rate we're going, I'll end up with one of these $2 watches.
What?
I'm sick of you and your schemes. I'm fed up.
Don't start throwing things, baby. Listen to me.
Matt, you hurt my arm. Let go. I'm pulling out.
Oh, no, you're not. Hold still, baby, and listen.
They help my throat. Let go.
Shut up and listen. I want to show you something. Something you don't ever want to forget.
Matt, what are you doing with that gun? You promised you'd quit carrying a gun after what happened in L.A., that cop.
Forget that cop. You're liable to find out if you try pulling out on me.
I was only kidding, Mal, honest.
Don't ever try it, baby.
Mal, let go of my throat. I won't.
All right. Don't ever try to pull out and cross me up with another guy or I'll blast you both.
I won't, Mal. I won't.
Oh, good. Now go wash the mascara off your face and go out and get the early edition of the Illustrated Press.
The Illustrated Press?
Yeah, it's the top sheet in this town. They have the best obituary column, the best list of suckers. Now get going, honey. The dead don't like to be kept waiting.
Hello, Steve. You got a minute to spare?
Hello, Lorelei. Could be. What's furrowing your lovely brow this beautiful afternoon?
I think I've dug up the meanest racket in the world.
Well, which one? There's several running neck and neck for that title.
Ever hear of poor box looters and those who steal pennies off the eyes of the dead?
Oh, yes. Among others.
Well, this racket puts those human benefactors in the shade.
Okay, let's have it, Lorelei.
There are a couple of modern grave robbers working a post-mortem delivery of junky watches on the relatives of people who have just died.
Uh-oh, the old obituary racket.
Right. They get their list of prospects from the obituary columns of the newspapers.
Yes, Lorelei. In one form or another, has been going on for years. The crooks deliver cars, jewelry, portraits, usually worthless junk they claim the deceased member of the family ordered before he died.
This time it's cheap watches with initials carved on the backs. Price $20 in the case I ran into.
How'd you pick up the lead? Police headquarters?
No, I was over in the factory district getting the story on a man who was killed in a hit-and-run accident. The man's wife told me the story and showed me the watch.
Had she reported the matter to the police?
No, she said she was sure her husband never ordered the watch, but the man who delivered it threatened to sue, so she gave him the money.
Yes, they generally pay without question or protest.
Oh, Steve, it was awful the way she sat holding that cheap watch, her fingers touching the initials cut in the back. Knowing she'd been cheated, feeling so helpless, and yet accepting it as part of the greater tragedy that had come to her.
Oh, these petty crooks know it's easy to work their dirty racket on the people in the depths of misery and despair.
And because they don't rate front-page headlines, nobody bothers. Nobody cares to read about it.
You're wrong, Lorelei. Millions suffer from the petty rackets. The very ones who can least afford to lose the little they have. Besides, this type of filthy gyp is a training school for the big-time rackets.
Is there anything we can do about this one, Steve?
Yes, did you get any lead? A good description of the man who delivered the watch?
No. The poor woman was so upset she couldn't recall what he looked like. She thought he was tall and dark complexioned.
Oh, I'm afraid that's no help.
It'd be like looking for a needle in a haystack, even if we followed up on every obituary notice in the press.
Yes, that's the... Hold it.
Huh?
Lorelei, you've given me an idea. How would you like to be a widow?
Hey, not so fast, Steve. You might at least find me a suitable husband before you make me a widow.
Oh, for this job, we can skip the formality. Here, find yourself a furnished apartment in the want-ad section.
Hey, what have I talked myself into?
A handsomely initialed watch, ordered by your late husband, I hope.
Oh, light begins to dawn. I'm the come-on.
Yes, pick a moderate-priced furnished apartment in the factory district and get over there and rent it before it's taken.
Here's one at 20 Pine Street.
Pick a name, Lorelei. Smith, Brown, Jones.
I'll take Jones. Lorelei Jones.
Yeah, Mac, the obit.
Hello, Mac. Steve Wilson.
Oh, Mr. Wilson, what can I do for you?
I want you to insert a death notice, Mac.
Hey, Mr. Wilson, sorry. Friend or relative
No, an imaginary character called Jones. Henry Jones, Mac. We're baiting a trap for a modern gravedigger. Robber.
Henry Jones.
Survived by his wife, Lorelei Jones.
Our Lorelei?
Check. It's all very sudden, Mac.
Anything else?
Have the notice set up, but hold it until Lorelei's rented an apartment and phones in the address.
Just got it done, Mr. Wilson.
Thanks, Mac.
Do I dress the part, Steve?
No, you'll do as you are, but hide that $20 hat.
On my salary? Oh, I made it myself.
I'll hide it anyway, and on your way to your new address, you better stop at your place and pack an overnight bag, Lorelei.
Okay.
And when you get a flat, phone Mac, the obit, and give him the address.
Right. Well, how long do you think it'll be before this slimy character appears?
Well, if he sees the obit and takes the bait at all, he'll show up sometime tomorrow morning.
What do I do, call for the law?
No, Lorelei, these rats can be as mean and vicious as their racket. Just tell him you want whatever your late husband ordered, but you haven't the money.
Mhm.
Say you'll have to get it from your brother and ask him to come back in an hour.
Then what?
Well, then phone me here at the office and I'll be right over.
Okay, brother.
Right. And I'll be there when he comes back.
Can I kick him just once when you grab him,
Nothing
Steve?
doing, Lorelei. Like four-legged rats, the obit operators seldom hunt their victims alone. We want all of them before we spring the trap.
Thus, Steve Wilson, fighting editor and champion of the helpless and the victimized, has set a trap for the vicious racketeers preying upon the poor and distressed. In a moment, we'll rejoin Steve and Lorelei as they carry out their plan to entrap these modern public enemies.
Extra, extra, he roll about it. Doctor's amazing report. Lifebuoy gets skin cleaner. He roll about it.
Pardon me, but did that boy say Lifebuoy health soap gets skin cleaner?
That's right, miss. Lifebuoy gets skin cleaner in your daily bath than any other leading soap.
And doctors have proved it?
Oh, yes, indeed. And not just once, but time after time. These doctors found in 820 scientific tests that Lifebuoy gets skin cleaner. Stops BO as no other leading soap can.
Now, wait a minute. Won't any soap get you clean?
No, all soaps aren't the same. Any soap will remove all the grime and perspiration you can see. But it's the invisible dirt, doctors say, that may form a foothold for BO. So be on guard. Remember, Lifebuoy gets skin cleaner than any other leading soap. Gives lasting after-bath protection 24 hours a day.
But how does Lifebuoy do it?
Well, doctors say Lifebuoy's purifying ingredient makes the difference. And this same purifying ingredient actually makes Lifebuoy milder. Safe even for a baby's tender skin. So bathe daily with Lifebuoy. Refreshing, mild. Lifebuoy gets skin cleaner. Get Lifebuoy right away. Now, back to Big Town and tonight's story of a vicious racket, the final payment. Learning that an obituary racket is being worked in Big Town, Steve has set a trap by having Lorelei Kilburn rent a furnished flat and pose as the widow of a worker whose fictitious death was announced in the obituary columns of the Illustrated Press. Now, the following day, we find Lorelei in an apartment on Pine Street, phoning Steve as she waits for the racketeers to come and take the bait.
Hello? Hello, Illustrated Press? Steve Wilson, please. Lorelei Kilburn calling.
Hello, Steve Wilson.
Oh, hello, Steve. It's Lorelei.
Chisel showed up yet?
No, and it's 3 o'clock. The death notice has been out almost 24 hours. I'm afraid we've drawn a blank.
Well, stick it a few more hours, Lorelei. It takes these racketeers time to mark initials on their junk, and they may have other deliveries to make.
All right, Steve, but I'd hate to spend another night in this place.
What's the matter, my lovely?
Rats. 4-legged.
Say, where are you phoning from, the hall?
No, the apartment. The former occupant had a phone, and it hasn't been disconnected.
Well, that's a break. Call me back if and after our man shows.
All right, I will, and incidentally, don't you trust me, Steve?
What do you mean, Lorelei?
There's been a man sitting on a stool in a bar and grill across the street watching this house all day.
Probably a barfly student of human nature.
Mm-hmm. His name couldn't be Harry the Hack, unofficial chauffeur and bodyguard of the Illustrated Press staff, could it, Steve?
Very observant, Lorelei. You're also a very good reporter, and I'm not taking any chances.
Oh, thanks, Steve, but hold it. I've got to call her.
Okay, hang up. Go in your act and make it good. If it's the man we're after, do just as I told you, and don't write yourself an obituary.
Right, Steve, I'll play it straight, and I'll call you back as soon as he leaves. Yes. Yes, just a moment, please. Who is it?
Package for Mr. Henry Jones.
Oh, a package? Just a minute, please.
Good afternoon. Mr. Jones in?
Oh, Henry, my husband died only yesterday.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am.
Yes, it was very sudden.
Well, maybe that's the best way to go, ma'am. But now about this package.
Oh, yes, you said you had a package for Henry. I'll take it.
Fine. I guess you'll want it to remember him by. It's a watch he ordered.
A watch?
Yeah. We'd have been able to deliver it sooner, but he wanted his initials on it. There's a COD charge for $20.
$20?
Yeah, 20.
But Henry didn't tell me anything about ordering a watch.
Maybe he was going to surprise you.
Well, maybe, but could I see it?
Sure. Here you are. But I can't leave it without the $20, lady.
Oh, I understand. It doesn't look like a very good watch.
I don't know anything about that, lady. All I know is your husband ordered it. Had us put his initials on it. And that spoils it for anybody else. So we have to collect the $20.
But I don't have $20 in the house. You see, there have been so many expenses.
How soon can you get it?
Well, I'm expecting my brother. I guess I could get it from him. Could you come back in an hour?
I don't know. I've got a couple of more deliveries to make.
Well, could I come to your shop and pick it up this evening?
No. I'll be back in an hour. If I can't make it, I'll send one of my assistants.
All right. You come back and I'll have the money ready for you.
Good. You do that and we won't have to turn the matter over to our collection agency. So long, Mrs. Jones. See you later.
I'll say you will, you scum of the earth.
Lorelei. Lorelei?
Steve, come in. What kept you? It's almost time for that human leech to come back.
Oh, I stopped across the street to tell Harry to be in his hack and ready to roll.
Oh, good. How are we going to handle this big rat when he shows?
Well, just how big is he?
Yeah, he can spot you 4 inches and 20 pounds, but I'm not sure he'll be back in person.
Well, I hope you didn't scare him off.
He isn't the type that scares easy when there's cash in prospect, but I think he may send an assistant.
Well, it doesn't matter. The assistant will lead us to their headquarters, Lorelei.
Well, what'll I say this time?
Now, when the bell rings, you're going to be grief-stricken. I'll handle this.
Okay, Brother Steve, the pleasure is all yours. Last time it made me sick to my stomach listening to that leech pull his rotten routine.
Okay, Lorelei, go in the other room and leave this to me. I'm going to try and act of my own.
Well, restrain your impulse to smash his face in.
I'll try to do that, Lorelei. Oh, good afternoon. Well, hello, Red.
Well, hello, big boy.
Oh, sorry, I'm afraid you have the wrong apartment, sister.
I don't think so. Mrs. Henry Jones lives here, don't she?
Why, yes.
You must be the brother she was going to borrow $20 from that left the COD on this watch her husband ordered before he died.
Oh, yes. I got the money for you. Right here.
Thanks. Hope you don't mind if I count it, handsome.
Not at all. But I want to have a talk with you, Red.
What about?
About your boss.
How come?
I might have something that would interest him.
Oh, yeah? Just a minute, my boss don't like to get shortchanged.
Oh, smart boss.
Nice fresh bills right out of the mint.
That's right. Now, if you give me the watch, I'll give it to my sister. She's lying down. It's been pretty much of a shock.
Yeah. But she's lucky having a smooth guy like you around. Must be quite a comfort.
Oh, thanks for the compliment, but what happened to your boss? I thought he was coming back.
He had some deliveries to make across town. And am I glad. You wouldn't be going my way, would you?
Could be, Red. But I got to talk to my sister first. Now they're waiting for me downstairs.
I got a better idea. I'll wait for you in the bar and grill across the street. The name's Ginger.
Okay, Ginger. See you in a few minutes.
Don't keep me waiting, brother.
Don't worry. I won't.
Well, handsome, you certainly did all right on short notice.
Now, don't jump to conclusions, my lovely.
You don't have to jump at those kinds of conclusions. They just run you down.
Okay, but this changes our plan of action, Lorelei.
Obviously. What assignment have you thought of to get rid of me?
Now, don't tell me you're jealous.
Don't flatter yourself, brother. Oh, okay, see, Steve, seriously, what was the purpose in that quick play-up to that curvaceous cutie with the 4-alarm tresses?
I think I can persuade her to lead me right to her boss, Laura.
What do I do while she's doing that?
I want you to get out of here, get in Harry's hack, and follow us wherever we go when we leave that bar and grill.
So far, easy.
When I give you the high sign, I want you to go to the nearest police station and tell them what's up.
And invite them to a handcuff party?
Yes, on the double.
Okay, big boy, what's your name?
Steve Wilson.
What's your racket, Steve?
I haven't a racket of my own, Ginger.
Don't give me that, Steve. You got dough and you got brains, so you gotta have a racket.
Oh, I work for a big organization.
Oh, I get it. A big-time mob.
Well, I wouldn't care to have it called a mob. But what about this boyfriend of yours?
He ain't my boyfriend. I just been stringing along, getting nothing but promises. And from where I sit, it looks like he ain't never gonna get nowhere.
Yeah, there ain't much future in selling junky watches, even if he puts initials on $2 tickers and CODs them for $20.
Hey, you're wise to the racket.
Oh, sure. I cut my eye teeth on it.
Well, then how come you give me the $20 without a squawk?
Because I want to meet your boss.
What for?
Well, maybe I'll put him in line for something big.
How do I know you're on the level?
I'm not on the level. Now, how about taking me to meet your boss?
He'd beat my ears off if I brought you to the joint we're using as headquarters while we're working big time.
I thought you said he wasn't your boyfriend.
He ain't, but he's crazy jealous, and if he thought I was interested in another fella, there's no telling what he's liable to do.
Oh, okay. There's nothing to keep me from following you home, is there?
No, there ain't. You look like you could take care of yourself. But if you do, you better watch out for Mal.
What last name is he using this season?
Mal Todd, and you watch out. He carries a rod in his suitcase, and I happen to know he's used it more than once.
Oh, thanks for the tip, Ginger. I think Todd will listen to my proposition.
He wants to tie up with some local mob that's got organization and protection. Maybe he'll listen. But, you got a rod, just...
Gun.
Gee, then you are a big shot, Steve. Where's your bodyguard?
Outside. In a taxi parked down the street.
Gee, fancy me bumping into a guy like you. Am I lucky?
Well, on the other hand, I might be a plainclothes cop.
Nah, you ain't the type.
Okay, well, now that we understand each other, suppose you finish your drink and go to Todd's place.
Okay. And you're going to trail along?
Like your shadow.
Okay. And, Steve...
Yeah, Ginger?
In case you should find Mal Todd don't want to play along with you, it won't break my heart if you have to rub him out.
Yeah? That you, Ginger?
Yeah, Mal. Let me in quick.
What's lathering you?
Close the door. Lock it.
Okay. It's locked. What's the matter? What kept you?
A guy's following.
Guys are always following you.
It's the brother of the dame we hooked.
That Mrs. Jones?
Yeah.
So what? Did you get the $20?
Yeah, he gave it to me.
Okay, hand it over.
Can't I keep a $5?
I'll give you a couple of bucks tomorrow. What about this guy? Did he squawk?
No. He bought me a drink and tried to get the lowdown on you.
On me? Copper, maybe.
No, I can whip a cop a mile. Talks like he's got some kind of racket. Wants to talk to you.
What about?
I don't know. He wouldn't tell me.
Listen, you two-timing little twist. If this is a double cross...
Mal, you're hurting my arm.
Sometimes I think I ought to break your neck. What'd you tell this local wiseacre?
Nothing, Mal, honest. And I tried to shake him, but I couldn't. He followed me all the way here.
Oh, he did he? Okay, if he wants to talk, we'll see what he's got to say.
Mal, you hadn't ought to carry that gun on you. Real big shots hardly ever carry guns.
This is one of them hardly ever times, Sugar Puss.
Mal.
Huh?
I think he's out in the hall.
Okay, let's see what he wants. Good evening, brother.
Hello, Todd. You mind if I come in?
No. Come in. Come on in, wise guy. And we'll make you feel right at home.
Thus, Steve Wilson, in an effort to trap two vicious crooks working an obituary racket in Big Town, has walked into their hideout, while Lorelei goes to summon the police. In a moment, we'll come to the exciting climax of tonight's story, brought to you by Lifebuoy Health Soap. Amazing, sensational, almost unbelievable, I know. But doctors have proved it, not just once, but time after time. In hundreds of scientific tests, these doctors found that Lifebuoy Health Soap, with its purifying ingredient, gets skin cleaner in your daily bath. Stops BO as no other leading soap can. The cleaner you get your skin, these doctors found, the safer you are from BO. So be on guard. Remember, Lifebuoy gets skin cleaner than any other leading soap. gives lasting after-bath protection 24 hours a day. Yes, bathe daily with Lifebuoy. Refreshing, mild. Lifebuoy gets skin cleaner. Get Lifebuoy right away. Now, back to Big Town and tonight's headline drama, The Final Payment. Posing as a local racketeer, Steve Wilson has followed the woman accomplice of a petty crook to their hideout. But double-crossed by the girl, Steve is admitted at the point of a gun.
Come on in, fella. I've been hearing about you.
Thanks. I hope I'm not interrupting anything unimportant. And put away that gun.
Never mind the gun. Don't forget I got it, smart guy. Sit down. Make yourself comfortable.
No, thanks. Looks like the chairs are falling apart.
Suit yourself. Ginger tells me you've been pumping her about our little obit racket.
Oh, nice going, Ginger. I thought you weren't going to tell your pal Todd. We had a little talk.
That's what I wanted you to think.
Ginger would double-cross her own grandmother, but she knows better than to pull a fast one on me.
Oh, that must be a comforting thought while it lasts.
Okay, wise guy. What do you want?
I want to size you up before I make you a proposition, Todd.
What's the name?
The name's Wilson. Steve Wilson.
What's the proposition?
It's a proposition that'll save you wearing out shoe leather trying to make a living by rooking grief-stricken relatives out of their hard-earned cash. Paying for junk watches no one ordered.
Okay. Your wife's the racket. How come you forked over this $20?
Because I expect to get it back. With interest.
Yeah? Frisk this monkey, Ginger. Let's see if we can place him from what he's got on him.
You won't find a gun.
He said he never carried no gun, Mal. He's clean.
Yes. Remember what else I told you, Ginger?
Yeah. Mal, you better go easy. He acts like a big-timer, and he's got a bodyguard that trailed us all the way here.
Yeah, why didn't you tell me that?
Well, I forgot.
What else you forget? What is this, a frame?
I'm just looking after myself, that's all.
Oh, Ginger wouldn't double-cross you, Todd. You just finished saying so.
She won't do it but once. Come on, Ginger. Give out. What's the angles on this screwy setup?
I don't know, and I don't much care. What'd I ever get out of stringing along with a small-time punk like you?
More than you ever got out of that 5-a-day routine in that Tank Town burlesque.
In a pig's eye. Anyway, I wasn't always ducking cops. Getting the bums rush from the local hoods. I'm fed up. I've had enough, and I'm getting out while the getting's good.
You better stick around, Ginger. Maybe Todd and I can make a deal and go places.
Like nothing. I thought maybe you was somebody, but you let this tin horn push you around like he was a big shot.
Stay put, Ginger. You ain't taking a powder on me for this guy or anybody else.
Like nothing, I ain't. I know when I've had enough.
Don't unlock that door, Ginger. I told you you'd never walk out on me.
I heard you say it plenty of times.
I meant it then, and I'm telling you now.
Now, don't be a fool, Todd. The chair's the payoff for trigger play.
Shut up, Wilson. Come back here, sugar puss, or so help me, I'll let you have it.
Don't tempt him, Red.
He ain't got the nerve. So long, small time.
Hold on, you two-timing little tramp. Ginger, I'll kill her. I'll kill her.
Not shooting into the ceiling, you would. Okay, Todd. Sleep that one off. Are you all right, Red?
Yeah, he missed me, and you're okay. I thought you was just another four-flusher, but you're okay, and you and me can really go places.
Sorry, Ginger. Your cross and double-cross has left you right where you started. Long ago.
The cops. And you're one of them.
No, Ginger. Just a newspaper man who doesn't like to see a lot of poor and distressed people being pushed around.
Steve, you all right? I heard a couple of shots.
Right as rain, Lorelei. Tell the law to come in and collect a couple of practitioners of one of the meanest rackets on the book.
Well, they just pulled up outside. Well, how did you manage this, Steve?
I suppose this Dave is that bodyguard you was talking about.
Uh-huh. But we're thinking of getting him a keeper any day now.
Okay, Lorelei, spare the rib. Get on the phone. Get the story to Fletch on the final.
Right, Steve. The capture of this pair should help break up the obituary racket in Big Town.
Yes, Lorelei, and serve as a warning to other migratory leeches preying on the helpless and the distressed.
So ended another skirmish in the endless battle of the war on crime. Another win in the career of fighting Steve Wilson and his staff of the Illustrated Press. Now, before telling you about next week's dramatic Big Town story, here is Lorelei Kilburn.
Friends, this is Lorelei Kilburn. I'd just like to say how nice it is to be back in these big town adventures. And it's especially nice to be working for such a fine sponsor as Lever Brothers Company, the makers of Lifebuoy Health Soap. Like millions of other Americans, I've been a Lifebuoy fan for years. I like the lather, I like the mildness. I've seen the proof of its quality and its wonderful effects. I know you'll like Lifebuoy, too. And we're all looking forward to next Tuesday night and many Tuesday nights to come. Thank you for welcoming us into your home. Thank you, and good night.
Next week, the makers of Lifebuoy bring you The Trap, a hard-hitting story of a dead man's revenge on his enemies. Another exciting assignment in the newspaper career of fighting Steve Wilson of Big Town. Don't miss it. In tonight's dramatization, all names, times, and places are fictional, and any similarity to other names and places is purely coincidental. Big Town features Edward Pawley as Steve Wilson, Fran Carlin as Lorelei Kilburn, and was written and directed by Jerry McGill. And now, Big Town bids you good night until next Tuesday night, same time, same station, when you'll hear the newsboy calling...
Extra, extra, hear all about it. The story of Steve Wilson and Big Town brought to you by Lifebuoy Health Soap, another fine lever product. Extra, extra.
New Rinso with Solium puts sunshine in your wash. Rain or shine, new Rinso with Solium gives your wash a new brilliance you've never seen before. You can dry clothes anywhere, and white clothes will turn out actually whiter than brand new, and washable colors brighter than brand new. It's because new Rinso contains the scientific sunlight ingredient, Solium. No other soap contains Solium, only new Rinso. It's so safe for clothes, so kind to hands. Find out about the amazing new brilliance of Rinso washed clothes. Find out how new Rinso with Solium puts sunshine in your wash. Get Rinso right away.
76 years ago, September 21st, 1948, Big Town, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Coming up next, an episode of Dragnet and The Big Shot.
Know what CONELRAD means? It stands for Control of Electromagnetic Radiation. Sounds pretty complicated if you're not an electronic engineer, and yet all you have to do is dial your AM radio to 640 or 1240 in the event of an enemy air attack. And thanks to CONELRAD, you will continue to receive official information. Remember, in times of civil defense emergency, for official news and civil defense instructions, dial CONELRAD at 640 or 1240 on your AM standard radio.
While we were listening to that episode, we are going to have coming out, and we're going to schedule it to come out today, on this Saturday, 21st, a bonus episode of the program that deals with CONELRAD. And we're going to have not only, let me find it here because I just pulled it up, a radio dramatization about CONELRAD and a program called By the People from 1959 that deals with CONELRAD, but also I have found, and don't get real excited, a recording off the air of the 1961 CONELRAD test, so you can hear what people actually heard. If that sort of stuff interests you, we'll have that up for you. Alrighty, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues now on this Saturday with an episode of Dragnet starring Jack Webb. This goes back 72 years, September 21st, 1952, The Big Shot.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield, first cigarette in America to give you premium quality in both regular and king size, brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A nightclub manager has been robbed and killed. The killers made good their escape. Their identity is unknown. Your job, get them.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, April 7th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way back from R&I, and it was 1:46 p.m. when I got to the interrogation room.
Find anything?
No, they're checking it now. Mr. Seaton?
Yes, Sergeant?
I wonder if you'd mind going over all that happened just once more. You might have forgotten something, some little thing that might help us here.
All right. Where do you want me to start? Where I came in this morning?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Well, I came into work about 8:30. Is that the time you usually get there? Yes, sir. It depends what time I catch my bus. Usually it's about then, though.
Was Mr. Kelby there then?
Yeah, he usually gets in around 8 or so, comes in, looks the place over. You know, checks the register, liquor supply in the bar, stuff like that. And then he goes to his office to count the money for the night before, get the deposit slip ready for the bank. That's what he was doing this morning when they came in. You see him come in? Yeah, I was in the kitchen when those two men came in. First, I thought they were salesmen. Both of them were dressed kind of nice. A lot of salesmen come in to see Kelby that time in the morning. I didn't figure anything was wrong. They say anything to you, these men?
Well, no, not at first. They just stood there looking the place over. I went on peeling my potatoes. And then I heard one of them say that he guessed they might as well get it over with, and that's when they pulled the guns and told me it was a stick-up. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Well, first, I didn't know quite what to do. I asked them if they was kidding, not to pull jokes like that. And I told them if it was a joke, it wasn't very funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big one come over and told me to keep my mouth shut, told me it wasn't any joke. And if I made a sound, they'd just soon blow my head off and look at me. Well, you just know I wasn't about to cause any trouble.
Did Mr. Kelby know they were in the place?
No, not then. You see, he keeps the door to his office closed when he's counting the money, and I thought about yelling to him, but then when I looked at those two guys, I thought about what they'd said about killing me. I decided not to. What'd these men do then? The tall one walked over to the door of Mr. Kelby's office and knocked on the door, and Mr. Kelby said for him to come in. Mm-hmm. And they opened the door and walked in. He saw the guns, asked them what they wanted. Told them they'd better get out of there with those guns, not to cause any trouble. The little one laughed at him and said they wanted the money and that Kelby was the one who shouldn't cause any trouble. I see. Go ahead. Well, the little one started to pick up the money, stuff it in his pockets, and Mr. Kelby told him they better leave it alone, that he had friends who'd take care of him. And the two of them said something I couldn't hear. The little one told Kelby that his friends wouldn't do him any good. That's when they shot him.
Which one actually shot him?
Oh, the little one. He's the one who said that thing about the friends. Well, did you try to do anything to help Kelby while all this was going on? Well, what could I do? I told you what those guys said. Kelby wanted to be a hero, save the money, fine. I wasn't his money, it belonged to the owners. Look, I tell you, Sergeant, money isn't worth that much. They nail you into that box, and they don't throw a bank book in. Those guys told me to stay put, I stayed put. What did these two fellas do after they shot Kelby? Well, the big one was real surprised, like he didn't know the little one was going to do it. He yelled at him he was a fool, said he was a stupid fool. Those were his exact words. The little guy finished getting all the money, and then they ran out. Well, I'll tell you, I was scared to death they were going to kill me, too. It looked like it for a minute, too.
How do you mean?
Well, when they ran through the kitchen of the back door, a little one stopped and asked what they was going to do about me. I thought, sure, my number was up. Big one said not to make it any worse, to leave me alone. Then they ran out of the place. And boy, that's when I called the cops and those other guys, out there in the car. And then you came. The rest you know. Now, you're sure that you've never seen any one of these men before? Well, sir, I'm pretty sure I haven't.
I wonder if you can give us some kind of a description on these two men.
Yeah, the big one was about 6'2", maybe 3. Weighed about 180 to 200. Dark, black curly hair. Anything special about him? The way he talked? Any scars, anything like that? No, nothing. How was he dressed? Can you remember? Yeah, he had on a gray suit. Glen plaid. Had kind of red in it, The suit looked expensive. He had black shoes, a maroon tie. Now, how about the smaller one? What did he look like? Oh, he was a little one, 5, 6, or 7, 130, 35 pounds. He was dark, too, black hair, cut real short.
Uh-huh. How about his clothes?
Had on a blue suit. Looked like a gabardine. Single-breasted, light blue. Had on a yellow shirt and dark blue tie. Would you know if there were any marks or scars on him? Oh, yeah, he had a little tiny scar right here, on the edge of his mouth. Uh-huh. Made him look like he was smiling all the time.
Well, these are very good descriptions, Mr. Seaton. They're going to help us a lot here.
Yeah, well, like I said, I wasn't about to be a hero and try to stop these two, but I knew that you'd want to know what they looked like, so I tried to get all the dope I could.
We understand. Now, during the holdup, did either of these men use any names? One of them call the other by a name, anything like that?
Oh, let me think about that. Yeah, there was something. While they were in the office, while the little guy was picking up the money, the big one said, "Hurry up, Deuce." Yeah, he called him Deuce.
That was a smaller one?
Uh-huh, that's right, Deuce.
Joe?
Yeah.
I'll ask the stats office to make a run on the descriptions and M.O. for us. Check the oddity and the moniker file in the R&I office and see if they can come up with a deuce or anything on the scar.
That'll be fine, Frank. Thanks a lot.
Hey, you got cigarettes, Sergeant?
Yeah. There you go.
Thanks. Yeah, how about a match?
Sure. There you are.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a terrible thing, Kelby being shot. I'll probably lose my job.
How's that?
I'll probably lose my job. The owners will figure, sure, I should have tried to stop those guys. Well, those are the breaks.
You said that when these men came in, the door to the manager's office was closed. Is that right?
Oh, yes, sir. Mr. Kelby always kept it closed when he counted the money, just like I said.
Uh-huh. Well, then it looks like the men knew that Kelby would be checking the money at that time, doesn't it? That they knew the layout of the place when they came in.
Yeah, I never thought of that. By gosh, that's what must have happened. They sure seemed to know what was going on.
Anybody else that was usually around at that time, would you know? Anybody that might have known that the manager worked the accounts at that particular time?
No, there's nobody else around. But I don't think that Mr. Kelby kept it a secret about the money.
Was Kelby conscious at all after he was shot? Do you remember that?
Not more than a minute. I ran over to him right after the men left. I wanted to see if I could help,
Okay.
Yeah, he was shot pretty bad. They'd hit him in the stomach. He was all doubled up. Terrible. He looked up at me and said, "I know." And his voice kind of trailed off. That's all. Just, I know.
Stats office is making the run, Joe. Got out the local and the APB on the suspects. Nothing that matches the name Deuce and nothing on the scar.
Anything from the crime lab yet?
No. Checked by the office. While I was there, Murphy called from Georgia Street.
Anything?
Yeah, not good.
What?
Kelby died and never regained consciousness. With the death of the victim, any information he might have given us about his killers was gone. The one witness to the murder was shown the mug books, but was unable to identify the suspects. Sergeants Gillen Cenas and Danny Galindo canvassed the neighborhood and came up with the driver of a bakery truck who thought he'd seen the killers leave the club. He told them that two men answering the description given us had walked out of the club and gotten into a late model Mercury sedan. He'd not been able to get the license number of the car, however. He was brought into the office and shown the mug books, but he was unable to point out the killers for us. In checking the neighborhood, Encinas and Galindo had come up with a waitress who had seen two men answering the description of the killers loitering around the area. She also described the Mercury sedan, but said that she hadn't paid much attention to it. Because of the smoothness with which the hold-up men had operated, indications led us to believe that they had been tipped off by somebody working for the club. Proceeding with this theory, we checked with the club owner, a Mr. John Watson. We found him in the kitchen of his home.
Hope you don't mind if I finish up here, officer.
No, not at all, Mr. Watson.
Guess it seems a little silly to you for a man to be in the kitchen. Kind of a hobby of mine, cooking.
Yes, sir?
Making a cheesecake. Got some friends coming over tonight. Figured a cheesecake might taste good later in the evening.
Yes, sir. You go right ahead. We just have a few questions we'd like to ask you.
About the robbery? Terrible thing. I don't understand why Kelby just didn't give him the money. Not give him any reason to shoot.
Do you have any idea who might have known that the money would be in the office at the time?
And almost everyone that worked in the place, not making mention of the salesman that came in. Would you hand me that rolling pin over there?
Yeah. Here you are.
Thanks. Crust to a cheesecake's important. That's one of the reasons I make it myself. Can't stand a soggy crust.
Are there any of your employees that you think might do a thing like this?
Well, that'd be hard to say. I didn't get around the club much. Once in a while, I'd drop by, chat with Kelby. He did the hiring and firing. As long as the place made money, I didn't interfere.
Well, the way it looks, it could be very likely that one of the employees did it. The men who pulled the job seem to know just what they were doing.
That right?
Yes, sir. I wonder if we could look through your employment records.
Sure, of course. Anything I can do to help out in this thing. Would you hand me that pan over there?
Where? This one?
Yeah. Thanks. Get this crust into it, and the cheesecake's about ready. Yeah, sure, you can look at the records. Don't see what that's going to show, but you're welcome to them.
What kind of a car do you drive, Mr. Watson?
New Lincoln. Just got it a couple of weeks ago.
Any of your employees drive a late model Mercury that you might know of?
No. Like I said, I don't really have a lot to do with the actual operation of the club. Kelby took care of that. Good manager. Did a fine job.
Can you tell us how much money they took, sir?
No, near as we can tell, it came to a little over $1,100. Some of that was in checks, that we cashed for our customers. Well, that finishes that. get this together. Now, get it in the oven. Looks good, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
You should taste it. Set it for 350 for 25 minutes, and that does it. Yeah. Now then, can I get you officers anything? Cup of coffee, something like that?
No, sir. If you just arrange for us to check your employment records.
Certainly. I'll call the club right away.
We'd appreciate that.
My brother-in-law's down there looking after things now. He's an idiot. Never could get a job on his own. I only hired him because my wife insisted on it. Yeah, he'd probably botch up the whole thing. Usually does.
Well, if you'd call him, sir.
How's Kelby's condition? Going to be laid up long?
Well, Mr. Kelby's dead, sir. We thought you knew.
No, I hadn't heard. Oh, I can hardly believe it. Such a ruthless thing, just terrible. Kelby was such a good man. Everybody that worked for him liked him. Didn't have an enemy in the world.
He had two. We went back 5 years into the employment records of the club. There were over 200 names. Each of them had to be checked out. Frank and I spent 2 months running them down. In all instances, the people interviewed had alibis, or else they could explain their action at the time of the robbery and killing. In each instance, if the person owned an automobile, it was checked. A broadcast and an APB had been gotten out on the late model Mercury seen at the club, but there had been no answers. No replies had come in on the descriptions of the two suspects. June 17th, we were checking out the last 3 names on the list. One of the 3, a David Adams, listed a rooming house on West 34th Street as his home address. We checked with the landlady, a Mrs. Elvia Collins.
Adams? Sure, he lives here, 2nd floor front.
Wonder if we could talk to him, ma'am.
Sure, got no reason to say you can't. Come in.
Thank you, ma'am.
He isn't in right now. Went out about an hour ago. Said he had a lead on a job, and I sure hope he gets it. He's a couple of months behind in his rent.
That's fine.
Sit down. Just take any chair.
Thank you, Miss Collins.
You officers like anything? Mint on the table there. Help yourself.
No, thank you. Adams give you any idea when he might be back?
No, he didn't say right out. I expect he'll be here by 6.
How's that, ma'am?
That's when we serve dinner. Mr. Adams hasn't missed more than 4 meals since he's been living here.
What's this Adams look like?
Oh, little man. Sort of like my first husband, little dried-up man.
How old would you say he is?
Well, I know exactly. Baked his birthday cake last Wednesday. 46 candles and 1 for luck.
About how tall would you say, ma'am?
5'6" or so.
How about his weight?
Maybe 120, and that'd have to be soaking wet. He's a real little man.
Is he dark or light?
I beg pardon?
His hair, is it dark or light?
Oh, light. A real silky hair, what little there is left of it. Funny the way he combs it. Never could figure it out why a man would comb his hair that way.
What's that, ma'am?
Well, you see, he's only got a little bit of hair on one side. He lets it grow real long, and then he combs it all the way over the top of his head, so it'll look like he's got a lot of hair. He really doesn't, though. It's silly. He's pretty vain about other things, too.
Does he have any friends in the building, Miss Collins?
Well, there's his 2 cousins. They've moved, though.
How long ago did they move?
Let's see. Must have been about 2-3 months ago. Yes, that much, anyway.
Well, what did these 2 cousins look like, Miss Collins? Can you describe them?
Well, you just bet I can. I had a lot of trouble with them 2, always drinking. First one, he was a big one. 6 feet, anyway. Had dark hair. Weighed maybe 200 pounds.
Miss Collins, how about his complexion?
Dark.
Anything outstanding about him?
Well, now, what do you mean outstanding?
Well, I mean anything about him that struck you as being different, maybe? Anything that attracted your attention, something like that?
No.
Well, what about the number 2 man? How old was he?
Well, he was a little younger. 35, or maybe 37, around there.
How tall would you say he was, Miss Collins?
Well, he was a little man. 5'6" or 7.
How much do you figure he weighed, would you know?
130 pounds or so.
How about his complexion?
Dark, just like the other one.
Anything outstanding about him? Scars, tattoos, maybe anything like that?
Yes, he had a scar. Right on the corner of his mouth. Made him look like he was smirking all the time. It was a real dirty look.
What are these men's names, Miss Collins?
Well, now, the big one was called Al Evans. The little one's name was Bill Evans. They was brothers.
Did they have a car?
Oh, yes, a late one. It was real pretty.
You know what make it was?
No. No, I'm sorry, but I can't tell one kind from another. Sure was a nice-looking one, though. A lot of chrome all over it.
Do you have any idea where they might be now, where they moved to?
No, I haven't. Well, Mr. Adams can probably tell you, though.
I see.
Oh, that might be him now. I'll see.
We'll go with you, ma'am, all right?
Are you expecting any trouble? What's this all about, anyway? Mr. Adams done something wrong? Oh, I do hope not. He's a little man, but he's awfully nice.
We'd just like to talk to him.
Oh, I sure hope they won't be any trouble. Oh, Mr. Adams.
Yes, Miss Collins?
These gentlemen would like to talk to you.
Oh? Something I can do for you?
Are you David Adams?
Yes, sir, that's right.
We're police officers, Mr. Adams. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
How do you do?
Adams.
What is it you wanted?
Well, it might be better if we talked in your room.
All right, but I still don't see what it is you want.
Did you get the job?
No, Mrs. Collins, but I've got another lead. Don't worry, I'll be able to take care of that matter by the first next week.
Oh, it's all right, Mr. Adams. I understand.
This is it. It's not much. Sit down anywhere.
Thank you.
You want to tell me what this is all about now? What it is that you want with me?
Well, we'd like to talk to you about the robbery of the Pink Rat Cafe last April. Manager was killed.
The Pink Rat, yes. I worked there a couple of years ago, but I don't think I've been in the place since then and lost the job. Kelby fired me for dropping a load of dishes.
Did you have an argument at the time?
Well, a little one, yeah. I was sore. He was, too. Wanted me to pay for the dishes. I didn't feel it was my fault. I told him so. He had a few words. Nothing serious, so why?
Mr. Kelby was killed in the holdup at the bar.
Yes, I know. That's too bad. But you surely don't think I had anything to do with that, do you?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out.
Well, why do you think I'd have anything to do with it? I haven't been near the place for a couple of years.
Well, the way the thing was pulled, the whole M.O. makes it look like it's an inside job. Somebody had to give the layout, tell him that Kelby would be in his office with the money at that time. It all points to somebody that either works there now or who did work there.
Yes, but why me?
Well, your name was on the list. It had to be checked out. Adams, you got any relatives in town?
Not now. I had a couple of cousins. They were out here for a while.
What are their names?
Al and Bill Evans.
Mind if we look around your room?
No, I got nothing to hide. Go ahead and look around. You won't find anything.
Thanks.
What is it about my cousins? You figure they had something to do with the thing?
Well, we think they might have. Their descriptions match the ones we got from the witnesses.
You've been talking to old Mrs. Collins. She's the one who told you about Al and Bill, isn't she?
Well, who told us isn't important, Adam?
You don't have to admit it. I know. You're a busybody, always getting your nose into somebody else's business. Oh, Harpy.
Joe? Yeah. Look at here. What's this gun for, Adams?
You never know when somebody's going to try to break into the house. It's protection, that's all.
You never had it out of the house, huh?
Not since I bought it. It's a 32, though. What are you so interested for? Kelby was killed with a 38. Well, he was, wasn't he? Seems to me I heard it on the radio or read it in one of the papers.
No, you didn't. The caliber of the gun that killed him wasn't released. How'd you know?
I must have read it in the paper, like I said.
No, this won't work, mister. I think maybe we better talk to you downtown, huh?
You going to arrest me?
Just like to talk to you downtown. Let's go.
Well, sure, but I got nothing to hide.
Well, you still got to come up with an explanation for knowing about that gun.
Description we got matches your cousin's. You know about the gun. You got a lot to explain.
I don't want to go to jail.
Too bad, Adam. You should have thought about that before you got involved in this.
Well, if I tell you, if I help you get the guys that did it, will you give me a break?
Well, we can't make any deals.
Well, I don't want to go to jail. You can't do anything for me, huh?
All we can do is see that the district attorney's office knows that you've helped.
But you'll tell him, huh? If I give you a hand?
He'll know about it.
Okay. I got claustrophobia. Put me in a cell and drive me nuts. I tell you who did the job. More than that.
Yeah.
I can show you the gun they used.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Listen to what the nation's press has had to say about Chesterfield's.
Atlantic City Evening Union. Wholesalers and retailers report an extraordinary demand for Chesterfields in both sizes, with sellouts in many instances.
Cleveland Press. Dealers everywhere report the big pack sale phenomenal. Last week in Cleveland, some areas reported the long-size Chesterfield outsold all other brands.
And from all over the country, we're getting reports from dealers telling us no product they ever handled has grown so fast in so short a time as king-size Chesterfields.
Yes, with the buying public today, high quality for the money is a must. And that's why so many smokers are changing to Chesterfield. First cigarette in America to give you premium quality in both regular and king size. King size Chesterfield is exactly the same as regular Chesterfield, except it's larger. Contains so much more of the same tobacco, it gives you a 21% longer smoke, yet costs very little more.
And the tobacco in king-size Chesterfield is of better quality and higher price than the tobacco in any other king-size cigarette.
Try Chesterfield. Either way you like them, regular or king size, they're much milder. Chesterfield gives you the best possible smoke.
We took David Adams back to the office and checked the gun with pawn shop records. It was clean. We printed him and checked him through R&I. We took him over to Westlake Park, and he showed us the approximate place in the lake where the gun had been thrown. He explained that his two cousins had talked him into helping them with the robbery of the club. He also said that as soon as he found out that there'd been a shooting, he'd washed his hands of the entire affair and told them that he'd have nothing more to do with it. The loot from the robbery had been divided between the two cousins, Adams taking no part of it. It took us 2 hours of searching before we were able to find the gun. It was turned over to Russ Camp in ballistics. He fired test shots from the gun, and comparison with the death bullet showed that it was the murder weapon. Markings on the shell casing found at the scene of the crime were the same as those left on the test casing. Adams told us that Bill Evans owned a late model Mercury sedan and that the two brothers had left for St. Louis in the car. He also was able to give us the license number. We checked with DMV, and they told us that the legal owner was a finance company on Crenshaw. The manager there told us that their payments were up to date. They were able to give us a St. Louis address used as a reference by Bill Evans. We called the St. Louis Police Department, gave them a rundown, and asked them to pick up the Evans brothers for us. The witness to the killing was unable to identify David Adams as one of the hold-up men. He was taken to the main jail and booked on suspicion of 287 PC. Frank and I waited for word from the St. Louis Police Department.
They're all the same, aren't they, Joe?
What do you mean?
I put any of them in a tight spot, and they'll spill all they know to save their skins.
Well, it seems that way, doesn't it?
Adams seems pretty sincere, though. Seems like he does really want to help.
Well, we'll know more when we hear from St. Louis.
You figure that Adams is telling the truth?
I don't know. The story seems to check out about how he laid the thing out for him, showing us where the gun was. Being that far back in his room, Red, would make that part about him not taking any of the money fit. I'll get it. Homicide Friday. Yeah, I'll take it. Mello. Yeah. Yeah, we've been waiting to hear from you. Did you pick up the Evans brothers? Uh-huh. Yeah, wait a minute. Toss me that pad, will you, Frank?
Yeah, here.
Thanks. Yeah, all right, go ahead. Uh-huh. What was that again? I didn't... Yeah, I got it. Okay, thanks. Anything we can do for you, give us a call. Yeah, sure, we sure appreciate it. Right, bye. Well, that does it.
What do you mean?
St. Louis checked the address. They'd been there all right, but they left this morning.
Any idea where they went?
Yeah, the Evans boys told us.
Huh?
They left a forwarding address. Motel out on Ventura Boulevard. Frank and I notified Captain Lorman of the new developments. We talked to the manager of the motel, and she told us that she did have a reservation for June 24th under the name Evans. She told us that they'd be in Cottage 12. In view of the fact that the suspects had not been alarmed, we decided not to put out an APB on the car. We felt reasonably sure that having made the reservations, they'd keep them. But in the event the suspects arrived earlier than expected, a surveillance was placed on the motel 24 hours a day. Sergeants Howard Hudson and Bill Cummings took the period from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Frank and I covered the other 12 hours. Directly across from the motel was a used car lot. We talked to the manager, and he gave us permission to sit in any one of his cars while keeping the place under surveillance. As we relieved each other, the police car was taken back to the city hall, so there would be no indication that the place was staked out. 4 days passed. No sign of the suspects. June 23rd, 4:32 a.m.
Joe.
Yeah, Mercury sedan. License checks. 2 men.
Stopping at the manager's cottage. They're ringing a bell.
Yeah, looks like they're signing the register.
It must be. There. She's giving him the key.
All right, let's let them get to the cottage. We told her we would.
All right.
There's the landlady's signal. Let's go.
Right.
All right, cover me.
Yeah.
Who is it?
This is the manager. Gonna have to move your car.
What?
You gotta move your car. Put it in the back.
What do you want, Stan?
Hey, cut, Bill!
Hey, Joe, get the other one.
Yeah.
Get away from me, cop. Leave me alone.
All right, give it up, mister.
I'm getting out. If you got any brains, you ain't gonna try to stop me.
You're going no place, mister. You can't get over that wall. Throw that gun out here. You haven't got a chance.
Not sure, Arthur. You'll never take me.
All right, hold it up, Evans.
I got no gun. I dropped it. You see, I got no gun. Get a doctor for me, huh? Or hurt.
Yeah, we'll call one.
You didn't have to shoot, did you? Lousy deal. You didn't have to shoot.
You didn't give me much choice, mister.
I wasn't trying to hit you, just trying to scare you, that's all. I didn't want to hit you. I'm a good shot. I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, you proved you're a good shot.
What do you mean?
When you killed Kelby.
The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On October 4th, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 87, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial. Nose, throat, and accessory organs not adversely affected by smoking Chesterfields. First such report ever published about any cigarette.
Yes, and it applies only to Chesterfield. A responsible consulting organization has reported the results of a continuing study by a competent medical specialist and his staff on the effects of smoking Chesterfield cigarettes. A group of people from various walks of life was organized to smoke only Chesterfields. For 6 months, this group of men and women smoked their normal amount of Chesterfields, 10 to 40 a day. 45% of the group smoked Chesterfields continually from 1 to 30 years, for an average of 10 years each. At the beginning and at the end of the 6 months period, each smoker was given a thorough examination, including X-ray pictures, by the medical specialist and his assistants. The examination covered the sinuses as well as the nose, ears, and throat. The medical specialist, after a thorough examination of every member of the group, stated, quote, "It is my opinion that the ears, nose, throat, and accessory organs of all participating subjects examined by me were not adversely affected in the 6 months period by smoking the cigarettes provided," unquote. Now remember this Chesterfield report. It's the first such report ever published about any cigarette.
Nose, throat, and accessory organs not adversely affected by smoking Chesterfields.
Buy Chesterfield either way you like 'em, regular or king size. Chesterfield gives you the best possible smoke.
William M. Evans and Alfred T. Evans were tried and convicted of murder in the first degree. They received life sentences in the state penitentiary. Because David R. Adams had turned state's evidence, and since he was not actually involved in the crime, in the interest of justice, the charges against him were dismissed and he was released from custody. This program is dedicated to the 59th Annual Conference of the International Association of Chiefs of Police held in Los Angeles this week. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Virginia Gregg, Jack Crucian. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
These great programs sound off for Chesterfield. Radio, Dragnet, The Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis Show. And every weekday, Arthur Godfrey time. On television, Dragnet, Gangbusters, Arthur Godfrey and his friends, and The Perry Como Show.
Tomorrow, you'll want to sound off for Chesterfields, because either way you like 'em, regular or king size, Chesterfield gives you the best possible smoke.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
There you have it from 72 years ago, September 21st, 1952, Dragnet here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Tomorrow, the second part of the postal case of the postal pirates, counter spy episode you heard a couple of days ago, the first, yesterday I should say, the first part of that. You'll hear the conclusion tomorrow. Along with Mr. Keen, Tracer of Lost Persons, we'll look at the news from the 22nd of September 1949, an episode of Gangbusters, an episode of Dimension X and Dr. Grimshaw's Sanatorium, and another episode of Superman. That's all coming up tomorrow on Classic Radio Theater, anytime on demand at our webpage, classicradio.stream. I hope that you will share our podcast and let people know that we're out here. Would you do that for me, please? Now, coming up next, Orson Welles and the Lives of Harry Lime.
Should public utilities fail in time of disaster, refrigerated foods must be either cooked or eaten before they spoil. If this can't be done, throw...
Now we go back to the prequel of the Third Man motion picture, The Lives of Harry Lime, starring Orson Welles, who was killed in the motion picture, and thus these shows came out after the movie. So there you go. Let's see, this September 21st, 1951, 73 years ago, Harry Lime and the Rogues' Holiday.
Presenting Orson Welles as the Third Man. The Lives of Harry Lime. The fabulous stories of the immortal character, originally created in the motion picture The Third Man, with zither music by Anton Karas.
That was the shot that killed Harry Lime. He died in a sewer beneath Vienna. As those of you know who saw the movie The Third Man. Yes, that was the end of Harry Lime. But it was not the beginning. No. He had many lives. I can tell you about all of them. How? Because my name is Harry Lime. Did I ever tell you about the time when I outwitted 3 very suspicious Wall Street investors at a net profit to yours truly of 55,000 American dollars? No? Well, I will sometime. Anyway, because of that little caper, I decided that an ocean trip would be good for my nerves and for the nerves of some half-dozen New York detectives. And that's how I happened to go on a holiday. A rogue's holiday, if you will.
And now, Orson Welles as Harry Lime, the third man in Rogue's Holiday.
Very pleasant. A day or so out of New York aboard the Queen Anne, bound for Southampton. I was on the passenger list as J. Harrington Lime. I ate, of course, at the captain's table. Remembering how I'd put the investments of those 3 Wall Street brokers in my own personal piggy bank, whenever I was asked,
"And what business are you in, Mr. Lime?"
I would smile to myself and answer, "I'm an investment broker, Lady Barbara. It is the Lady Barbara Follet, isn't it?"
"Yes, of course."
"I thought we'd met. Aren't you also sitting at the captain's table?"
"Yes, that's right."
"And I seem to remember that there's an empty chair at the table next to yours. You're not traveling alone?"
It's of no importance. You are on a holiday, Mr. Lime?"
"A holiday? Well, after a manner of speaking, yes."
"I don't understand."
"I'm so interested in my work, Lady Barbara, that I'm seldom able to keep from mixing pleasure and business."
"Oh, you seem so young to be engaged in so complex a business. Investment banker. I always thought all bankers were portly men in their 50s.
Well, every banker must be able to inspire confidence in his clients, Lady Barbara. The incompetent banker relies on his appearance and his maturity.
And you?
I rely on my record of success, ma'am. No hurry. No hurry at all. Not while I was on my holiday. Pleasant boat, the Queen Anne, scheduled to take 6 days to Southampton she was. I had plenty of time. But the question of Lady Barbara Follet's bank account and the question of the empty chair next to it, the captain's table, preyed a bit on my mind, so I looked up the passenger list. There she was, all right. Lady Barbara Follet, stateroom A deck, stateroom for 2, right now. All it said was, and companion. And companion. What did that mean? Not a husband, surely. Looked up the steward for a stateroom.
Yes, sir.
Steward, you're in charge of the staterooms along this corridor, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, now number 6. I believe that's Lady Barbara Follet's stateroom, isn't it?
I believe
yes,
so.
Now, I was wondering, just idle curiosity, you know, on the passenger list, she's down as traveling with a companion. But it doesn't say who the companion might be.
It don't, sir?
Steward.
Yes, sir.
Here, take this for your trouble.
Thank you,
now
sir.
Then, would you tell me who her companion is?
No, sir. Not me, sir. Will that be all?
Yeah, just a minute now.
Yes,
After
sir.
all, old man, I slip you a $10 bill just for a bit of information.
The lady in question, sir, slipped me a double sawbuck knock to give out that information, sir.
A double sawbuck?
$20, sir.
Ah, yes. Well, then I'll just take this for your trouble.
Thank you,
now,
sir.
Then, about Lady Barbara's companion.
You were planning a little hanky-panky, no doubt, sir.
Hanky-panky?
Worried, were you, sir, lest the companion might be the husband of the lady in question?
Yes, something like that, yes.
Looking for a little shipboard romance, no doubt, sir.
That's it. Now, who's the companion?
You've got clear sailing, sir. The companion's not her husband. Matter of fact, sir.
Yeah?
Take my advice and wait till the companion's got her sea legs, sir. A lot cuter, the companion, than Lady Barbara, sir.
Uh-huh. Thank you, Stuart.
Not at all, sir.
So, in the next day or so, I found opportunities for squiring Lady Barbara around the boat. Cocktails in the evening, a drink or two after dinner, even a game or two of deck tennis in the afternoon. Something she'd said made me prick up my ears and redouble my attentions to her as a prospective, shall I say, client. We were having brandy in the lounge after dinner.
The other day, Mr. Lyme.
Yes?
You were saying that what you relied on to inspire your clients with confidence
Was my continuing success, yes, that's right.
I must say, you inspire me with confidence.
Well, that's half the battle for an investment banker like me. Have you some problem with your own investments?
To be frank, yes, I have, Mr. Lyme. We must talk of it further tomorrow.
Why not now?
Thank you, I should like to, but the truth is, I must spend...
Your companion. The reason for the empty chair next to you at the table.
Yes,
She hasn't her sea legs yet,
How did you know it was she, not he? Well, it's no matter. You'll probably be meeting her tomorrow. If she takes a liking to you, Mr. Lyme, as I have, then perhaps we can do some business. That is, if you want to.
Any way I can be of service, Lady Barbara. Next morning, I ran into their steward, and he told me that both ladies were out promenading. With some caution, I went looking for them. True, I was on holiday, but still, if I could turn my hand to a piece of business. Besides, I was curious about this mysterious companion whose name was not even carried on the passenger list. Turning a corner on the promenade deck, I nearly bumped into them. Quickly, I ducked back behind a bulkhead as they passed.
Que pourrais-je faire? C'était drôle, hein? Tu es rigolo, ma princesse.
Ma princesse. So, her companion was a princess. For the rest, I'd seen that she wore a veil close over her hair and face, but no veil could conceal that beauty. And I'd seen something else that interested me, too. A string of pearls, matched pearls. I maneuvered into position for the next round on the promenade. Lady Barbara.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Lyme. Anne, this is the nice man I've told you about who's been so kind to me. Mr. Lyme, this is Miss Jones.
How do you do, Mr. Lyme? I am pleased to meet you.
Miss Jones? Such an ordinary name for such an extraordinary young lady.
He makes nice speeches, Barbara, just as you said he did.
Perhaps you'll permit me to join you?
Oh, I'm so sorry. We were just going in, Mr. Lyme, weren't we, Barbara?
Well, then at least, Miss Jones, maybe you will join me and Lady Barbara this evening before dinner.
Mr. Lyme insists on the practice of buying me a cocktail before dinner, Anne.
Why, I should like that. Only as to cocktails, the ship's doctor told me that perhaps until I am stronger, I should drink champagne.
Perfect. I'll make sure there's a bottle of ice for you, Miss Jones. Miss Jones, I was sure that while that name Jones was a phony, the pearls weren't. This was promising to become one of the more profitable holidays I'd spent. That evening, I was in the lounge early, a bucket of iced champagne by my side.
Mr. Lyme, as you promised, my wine.
It's vintage, Miss Jones. I think it should be adequate. No, Lady Barbara?
Oh, she was a little indisposed. She sends her regrets.
Please sit down. Steward, I confess, Miss Jones, I'm not too sorry Lady Barbara's not joining us tonight.
So?
I was looking forward so to meeting you. You'd become a lady of mystery, and having met you this morning on the promenade deck, I spent the day looking forward to chatting with you this evening.
Oh, more pretty speeches.
All right, sir? Yes, fine. Now, fine, thank you. If the wine meets with Miss Jones' approval.
Miss Jones knows little of wines, Mr. Lime. She is content to leave such matters to you. You have won Lady Barbara's confidence, and that means that you have won mine, too.
Then a toast to your improved health, Miss Jones.
Now, why do you always pause, as if you do not remember my name?
Oh, my apologies. Very rude of me. I'm awfully sorry.
I accept your... Oh!
What is it?
Oh, my string of necklace. It broke. Oh, my pearls.
Oh, here, look out. Just hold still. You know how many of them there were? Now, don't move.
Yes, there were 64.
Just so we can make sure none of them have rolled under the... Here. Yeah, here's another.
Oh, such a stupid thing. No, I really must apologize.
Please, here's another. Steward.
No, it is all right. I think that's all of them. Let me see. Quickly, that's 5, 10, 15.
Yes, sir. Just hang on a second, will you? The lady's string of pearls broke. It may be that 1 or 2 are still missing somewhere.
I have never done such a betise, such a foolish thing. 55 and 5 is 60, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, that is the whole lot of them. Thank you, Stuart.
Lucky thing, ma'am.
Oh, Mr. Lime, do me a great favor.
Anything at all. I say, you're sure they're all here?
Oh, yes, sure. Take them, will you? You have an envelope, perhaps, or a safe pocket? Take them for me to the little jewelry shop. You know, the one right on the stairs.
Oh, sure, I know the shop, but...
Maybe it's still open. You can have the man restring them properly on a strong new string. Or would you do that?
Well, I'm not sure I like the idea, really, of wandering around the ship with a handful of loose pearls. These look like the real thing.
Oh, no, they will be perfectly safe. Now, won't you, for me, such a little favor, if the shop should still be open, please?
Leave you?
Oh, I shall sit here quite quietly, just thinking how lucky I am that you were with me when the string broke, till you return. All right?
All right. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Orson Welles returns in just a moment as the third man. And now, Orson Welles, as the third man, continues with Rogue's Holiday.
So there I was, by myself, free as the wind, with 64 pearls in my pocket. Even one of them, one of the bigger ones, be worth, well, 5,000 pounds, something like that. Nice sum. In my stateroom, I had some loose pearls, paste. I could have made the switch easily enough, had plenty of time. And a stupid thief might have done just that. But not Harry Lime. Oh, no. I'd play it smart. I'd wait till later. Went straight to the ship's jeweler.
String broker?
If you could do a quick but good repair job, old man, I'd be most grateful.
Oh, it's easy enough. Just take a moment. Just roll them out here. Good ones, aren't they?
Oh, they look it, don't they?
Yes. To an expert's eye, they're very handsome indeed.
How much would you estimate that string to be worth, old man?
If you were to just walk into this shop and ask to buy them, do you mean?
Yeah.
Or if you wanted me to find you another 64 like them?
No, just walk in and buy them. 50,000 pounds?
Oh, I'd say this string closer to 150,000, sir.
Well, I was a pretty rich man there for a few minutes.
There you are, sir.
Yes.
That string shouldn't break very quickly.
Thank you very much. What do I owe you?
Oh, forget it, sir. It's a privilege to be handling those pearls, even if only for a moment.
It would have been foolish for me to tamper with his fortune while we were still aboard ship. 2 days we'd been in Southampton, at which there'd be still plenty of time. The important thing was to get this lovely girl's confidence, which I most certainly did. And the second thing was to pry under her incognito. Who was she? Which princess of the blood was anxious to conceal her identity under the plebeian name of Jones, and why? Not until the last night, when the ship was gliding into the soft darkness past Plymouth, when the two of us stood under a sickle moon on the boat deck, did I find out. If she looked lovely in that moonlight, her pearls looked even lovelier.
Oh, what a wonderfully soft, warm night.
I hadn't noticed.
You had not? Oh, the band has begun playing again.
It has?
Can't you hear it? What's the matter with you?
Well, I need all my 5 senses for something more important than looking at nights or listening to dance bands.
Oh, no, Mr. Lime.
Harry.
Oh, no, Harry, you must know.
If the night is warm, it's because it must be to afford you a warm mantle. If the band is playing, it's only to provide a setting for your voice. Miss Jones.
My name is...
Yes?
Anne.
Don't move.
Please.
What price the warmth of the night or the music of the band?
Oh, you kiss very expertly, Mr.
Harry.
Or should I say you seem very practiced.
If a cat may look at a king,
Yes?
then perhaps it's all right. If I kiss a princess.
You recognized me.
Well, I knew you were a princess, not your name, if that matters.
You are uncanny, Mr. Lime.
Harry.
Since you have gotten this far and since you have shown yourself trustworthy, I can see no reason for not telling you anymore. I am Anne de Bourbon, Princess of Helvigstein.
At your service, ma'am.
You have heard of our principality? It is in eastern Germany, beyond the Iron Curtain. I should say it was, it is no more. It's all gone except...
Except what?
I'm not sure. I will not know until I meet my husband in London. If I meet my husband.
If? Well, there's some doubt.
I have said too much already, Mr. Lime. It is too bad. It has been a pleasant evening. I was almost able to forget for a moment. Good night.
She was gone, just like that. At least I knew now who she was. Whether I'd be able to find her again in London, whether I'd frightened her away, and with her my chance at that string of pearls by letting her know that I knew she was a princess, all these things I was a little nervous about. Till next day, just as I was getting ready to disembark in Southampton, Lady Barbara came up to me rather quickly.
Mr. Lime, here, a note.
A note from...
read it, please.
After last night, I've been worried for fear I might just possibly have said something which, might have offended your friend, Miss Jones.
Offended her? Oh, read the note.
The notepaper bore a crest, a coronet. It was one sheet of heavy paper folded once. There was no salutation. The note said, "As you said, a cat may look at a king. It might be interesting and fun to experiment once more with your other statement, the one about a princess." There was no signature, but none was necessary.
Do you feel better?
Yes, but...
She asked me to tell you that we would be stopping at the Carlton. We'll hope to see you then.
So she had arranged that we should meet again after all. But when we met again, away from the dangerous confines of an ocean liner, I proposed to relieve her lovely neck of those lovely pearls. Oh, sure, I was on a holiday and sentiment was involved, but these were factors that had to be disregarded. My scheme was foolproof. As it turned out, the scheme wasn't needed the first time I saw her in the sitting room of her Carlton suite.
Mr. Lime.
Oh.
All right, Harry. Harry, you have already done me one favor. I hate to ask you,
I've told you I'm at your service, Miss Jones.
No, call me Anne, please.
If you want me, Highness, I shall be at...
No, don't leave, Barbara. Stay with us. You know the favor I have to ask of Harry anyway.
I started to say anything short of murder, Anne.
No, it's nothing like that. First, listen. On shipboard, you remember, I told you I was to meet my husband.
If, you said.
Yes, if. This is the if. Years ago, Harry, when the Red Army was driving through East Germany, we had to flee. My husband hid what was valuable that we had. Jewels, some gold plate, a pitiful collection, really, but all we had. He hid it himself. He alone knew where it was. He trusted in those days no one. Then, a few weeks ago, we planned to get it back. It would cost us a lot, we knew. Bribes, the purchase of a plane, fee for the pilot, more bribes and always more bribes. Klaus had to fly into Helvigstein, don't you see, himself. A mad and dangerous idea.
I think so.
But he refused to tell anyone else where his cachet was. He could not trust anyone. I went to America to raise some funds that was needed. Lady Barbara has been good enough to lend us more. But just today, I have learned that even more is needed.
More money?
Mr. Lime, say no quickly if you cannot do me this favor. But I have exhausted all my other resources.
If you knew how much it costs to bribe these officials over here.
No, I'll bet. How much do you need?
Oh, you will do it? It's just a loan, mind you.
It's a pleasure.
Lady Barbara's investment will bring her all we need at the first of the next quarter, and then I can repay you.
Please, how much do you need?
10,000 American dollars. It is too much?
No, I don't think so. No, certainly not.
And see, for security,
Oh,
security on your loan, here, you will take this, my pearls. You have already once guarded them well.
Oh, please, I wouldn't dream of...
Yes, I insist. Otherwise, I will not even ask you for the loan of the 10,000 American dollars.
Oh, well, if you insist.
Here, take them. Now, how can we arrange to get the money?
Well, I have more than that here in the hotel safe in American dollars, too. Just let me ring the desk. A trip downstairs in the lift. Elevator to you, back up again to my room, and over to hers. I handed her 10 bills. She handed me the pearls. We smiled, shook hands on the deal, and I walked out of her room with a fortune in my pocket. Called for a celebration. A pal of mine runs a pub saloon to you in London. I use it as a sort of message sender. I have letters sent me there. My pal knows all the gossip who's in town, who swindled whom, all the news I need in my business, so I went straight to him.
Harry, I haven't seen you for months.
Afternoon, Barney. Give me a whiskey and soda, double whiskey and soda. None of your bar whiskey either. Something good, one for yourself. I'm celebrating.
So am I, man, so am I. I'm celebrating your return.
Well, good.
How long you been in England?
Just a little while.
Too hot for you in the States, was
Look, can we have a drink somewhere in private?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Follow me. Got onto something good, have you?
I'll be leaving London pretty quick, Barney. I have to go to Europe, France, I guess maybe Italy.
Well, you've only just got here.
I pulled a quick one. They may be looking for me in London sooner than I like to think.
Uh-huh. What for? Unless it's something you think I should know about.
Look, Barney.
Well, now, aren't they beauties? Real thing, aren't they?
I had them priced by a jeweler who said he'd ask £150,000 for them.
Oh, that should keep you in cigarettes for a week or two. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not half bad. Not, in fact, a quarter bad. Let me have a look. Do you mind?
Look them over all you want, Barney. I'll fence them in Paris somewhere. This is your last look, old man.
Uh-huh. Where did you say you got them?
Off a German princess. She gave them to me as a security on a loan.
Mm-hmm. German princess, is it?
Yes, French-born, I think.
French-born, you think?
Yes.
Name of what?
Anne de Bourbon, Princess of Elvichstein. Yes, very good. What's so funny? What's so very funny?
Anne de Bourbon. Princess de Elvichstein.
All right, old man, all right. Better let me in on the joke.
I thought these pearls looked funny, although you said they weren't jam.
You're crazy. Well, Barney, I had them priced myself.
Maybe you had some pearls priced, but not these, my boy. You've been had. The oldest trick in the world. Pulled on you, Harry Lime.
Now, you're lying. Now, don't try to pull your tricks on me, Barney. A joke's a joke, but...
Oh, I don't have to. It's been pulled already. Harry, me bucko, I know who Andy Bourbon is. I know who the Princess von Elwigstein is, too. She's a slick little article.
Oh, no.
But she ain't German. She's not French-born, and I don't think you'll ever find any Elwigstein on no map. She's Doris Jones.
Oh.
That's who she is. And she was born right here in Clapham. That's where she was born. And she took you and shook you for, how much?
I gave her 10,000 American dollars. I don't believe you.
I'll die. The oldest gang in the world and pulled on none other than Harry Lime himself. I'll die.
Room 316, please.
Harry, when this news gets around, boy.
That's right. I'm calling Miss Jones. No, never mind. Oh.
Well, do I win me bet? And did you lose your 10,000 American dollars?
Yes. All I've got are these pearls.
Oh, better than nothing, Gary. It's a good imitation. Must be worth £50.
£50? Well, I'm on my holiday. I come out ahead after all.
What? Well, what about your 10,000 American dollars?
Your slick little article from Clapham tries to pass that 10,000, Barney. They're counterfeit. That'll teach Miss Jones to try anything fast with Harry Lime.
Harry Lime returns in just a moment. And now, Harry Lime.
Well, it seems that Miss Jones found herself a legitimate prince, one of those exiles in Portugal, and settled down with him in Lisbon. I ran into her at Estoril a couple of seasons later. She was a real princess now. But it seems His Highness isn't as young as he was and probably never was, so the princess is very democratic. She asked me to their place for dinner, said she thought I'd be interested in some of the interior decorations. I was. She complimented me on my nice set of pearl studs, which she recognized, and showed me into the cloakroom, which was entirely wallpapered in American $10 bills, or a reasonable facsimile. I recognized them. No hard feelings, you understand. It's a pleasant little caper, and I always enjoy moving about amongst the upper classes. It's so educational. Well, goodbye for now. Don't take any lead nickels. And remember, if you can't manage to resist temptation, be sure you get it appraised.
And 73 years ago, September 21st, 1951, Orson Welles and the Lives of Harry Lime here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Up next, the FBI in Peace and War.
In case of enemy attack on our country, these two numbers, 640 and 1240, may save your life. They are your Conrad frequencies. Remember, 640 and 1240.
All right, let's roll on here with an episode of the FBI in Peace and War. This episode goes back 69 years, September 21st, 1955, The Scandal Sheet.
The FBI in Peace and War. Another great story based on Frederick L. Collins' copyrighted book, The FBI in Peace and War. Drama, thrills, action. Tonight's story, Scandal Sheet.
Fasten your seatbelts, please. No smoking, miss. Fasten your seatbelt, sir.
Jimmy.
Your seatbelt, sir.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you. No smoking, everyone.
Guess we're coming in now.
Fasten your seatbelt.
Yeah, I guess we are. And you're excited, huh? Well. Go on, and don't try to hide it. Be excited. I know how it was the first time I came here. No one could have told me I wasn't going to own the whole city in 6 months or less.
All right. Well, I was giving it a whole year.
Oh, you like New York, Jimmy. You'll never regret your decision.
What's to regret? The only other offer I had was in Dad's shoe factory. And you know how I burned that bridge behind me.
Yes, and it's well burned. A young man with your potential mustn't waste himself. You've got a brilliant career ahead of you.
You really think so?
Well, would I say so if I didn't? Would I go out on a limb and recommend you to a big publishing house like Marvin Perkins?
I just can't believe it. I keep thinking I'm going to wake up and find that Mr. H.L. Marvin never existed and I'm still back on the campus.
I know what you mean. I felt the same way when I first read your story.
You did?
Exactly the same way. No college sheet could produce writing like this, I told myself. No lad of 20 could have such command, such power of language, such insight into the human heart. But then when you showed me the opening pages of your novella, well, then...
You really think I have a chance, Mr. Marvin?
Well, I certainly do. An excellent chance, Jimmy. Of course, you've a long way to go. Professional writing isn't as easy as it looks from the schoolyard.
Oh, I know.
And a tough editor like Len Perkins will want to be shown. But if you stick with it, do as you're told.
I will, Mr. Marvin. Believe me, I will.
Now, art is one thing and craft is another. You remember that if you want to keep eating.
I will. You don't have to worry about me.
All right, Jimmy, that's all I ask. Give this all you've got. And who knows, maybe you'll own the whole city in a year at that.
Our file on Howell Lewis Marvin up to 1951 shows 2 arrests with 1 conviction.
It was while serving a term at Lewisburg for this conviction that Marvin's taste in literature bore criminal fruit. For it was here that he met another book-minded prisoner named Leonard F. Perkins. Perkins was a rough-and-tumble customer, in jail for sending obscene publications through the mail. On his and Marvin's joint release from Lewisburg, the pair turned their warped attention to what has become known as the sleaziest racket in the book.
Marvin Perkins Publications, good morning. Just a moment, I'll connect you. Yes, sir?
Hello, miss. I'd like a back copy of your magazine.
It's you, Mr. Marvin. I'm sorry I didn't see you.
Oh, not at all. That's how we like the staff right on the job. How are you, Miss Blair?
Just fine, thanks. Welcome back. How was the trip?
Oh, it was perfect. I almost signed up for the liberal arts. Anybody in yet, Mr. Perkins?
No, sir. He's due any minute. Miss Keegan is in his office having coffee.
Oh, coffee. Now, that's a good idea. Put all calls through to me in there, will you?
Of course, Mr. Marvin.
And tell Mr. Perkins that I want to see him as soon as he comes in.
Yes, sir. Hey, Marv, is that you?
Nobody else. Hello, Paula. How's the girl? Where's my kiss? What about coffee?
What first?
What else?
Well, thank you, sir.
Coffee?
Oh, you.
Black with 2 sugars. Ah, it's good to be back.
Miss me?
Yes, you and civilization. Oh, they can have their academic life, Paula. Give me good old ignorant New York. How is Len?
Oh, good as can be expected under the circumstances. 2 sugars?
Mm-hmm. Circumstances?
Oh, you know, so what the devil's keeping Marv and that new character he wrote us?
Oh, that's the usual. Well, just wait until you see the new character, Paula. He is the most.
Here you are.
And this is black.
I can't stand coffee without anyway a little cream.
You can't stand. Who's drinking this?
Oh, go on. It won't kill you. The most, huh? Where'd you dig him up? Harvard?
Oh, a place called Winfield U.
Never heard of it.
Who has heard of it? All that ivy and vine they got hiding the joint, almost missed it myself. Well, how's it been here?
Hot.
Business.
Not good, not bad. The blue blood alcoholic paid off for 5 G's, but our stage actor friend's acting up.
Huh?
In fact, he's been downright insulting. Called our illustrious magazine a filthy scandal sheet. Also called Len.
All right, never mind what he called me.
Len, there you are.
By the time you got back, Marv, you won't need a vacation this year. Well, where's the character?
Oh, listen to him right away, business.
Where is he? Can he go out and do a feature story tonight?
Manners, Len. Don't you even say hello?
If not tonight, tomorrow morning at the very latest. Blair, honey, bring in that file and Joyce cameo, will you, please? I said hello.
Must be getting deaf. I didn't hear it. Did you, Paula?
Must be getting deaf, too.
Okay. Very funny. So, hello, good morning, and where's the character?
Oh, sit down, Len. You'll get an ulcer.
I got an ulcer. Is he a gray suit job, Marv, Madison Street?
He is, Len. Did I ever let you down? Jimmy is Ivy League from head to toe. Now relax, will you?
He can't relax. He's only got till tomorrow, the latest.
Tomorrow morning. Now, this is big, maybe the biggest. I don't want we should muff it.
Joyce cameo?
Yeah, little Miss Hollywood. She's here in town for a personal.
Oh, I don't know, Len.
What do you mean you don't know?
Joyce cameo is only a starlet. I mean, how much can she make?
How much can she make? Only a starlet, eh?
Well, isn't she?
Tell him, Paula. Brother, are you out of touch? Go on, Paula, tell him.
She is only a starlet, like you say, Marv, but she comes from a Boston family that's, pardon the expression, but low dead.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, one of those, and then some. Loaded, unmarried, and a walkout on her old man who thinks acting stinks. Now add that up and tell me Gray Suit can't do a feature.
Well, I didn't figure on starting the boy so fast.
Well, what's fast? Get him over here, I'll give him the glad hand, typewriter, his own office, the works. Paula gives him the private secretary routine and advance expense account. What more does he need? He wants to work, don't he?
Well, I know, but
Len has something, Marv. The doll's here maybe only a week, 10 days.
Sure, and we got to play this while it's hot.
Okay. I'll get him over here. Have to learn the facts of life sometime. I guess we might as well begin.
Back to Scandal Sheet in just a moment.
What does the Code of Conduct mean to the American military man? It means more than just his being a good fighting man. It means the building of a soldier, sailor, marine, or airman's moral character. It means pride in his country and respect for its principles. It means a sense of honor and a sense of responsibility toward a way of life which has made America free. That's what the code means to the American military man.
Act 2 of tonight's story on the FBI in Peace and War. Scandal Sheet.
For the first 2 years after their return to society, Len Perkins and H.L. Marvin stayed out of prison and ostensibly out of trouble. But in 1951, their undercover operation inadvertently came to light. An anonymous letter attached to a copy of a magazine was received at a California branch of the Better Business Bureau and subsequently forwarded to our local field office. Since we had no idea of the nature of the racket, or even if there was one, our first step was to have the field office send on the magazine and letter to the Bureau in Washington.
Steve, they're here. The magazine and letter. Oh, sorry.
Well, that's all right, Dave. I'm talking to Barney Felix in communications. Pull up a chair. I'll be right with you. Barney, Dave Reynolds just came in with the stuff California sent us. Bring up what you have in file on Marvin Perkins Publications, will you? Thanks, Barney. We'll be waiting. Okay, Dave. What's it look like?
Here you are. See for yourself.
Real intimate, huh?
The cover's mild. Wait till you get a look inside.
Slick paper and everything. This isn't any cheap proposition.
It certainly isn't. Not according to that letter, anyway. Whoever wrote it claims he paid out $5,000.
To keep his intimate story out of the issue.
That's what he claims.
I can see why. The husband, Miss Galaxy, forgot. Now, there's a fine, upstanding title.
They get even worse. What's that one?
Is it true what they say about Dixie Southland? Who's Dixie Southland?
A top-billing stripper in the fancier clubs.
Will success spoil George Spelvin? Okay, I've seen enough. Angle's blackmail, huh?
If you can prove it.
Not libel.
No, they're smart about that. Those titles are only a come-on and usually in the form of a non-libelous question. The stories themselves are old-known facts, with an occasional slanted innuendo that actually says nothing.
Slanted innuendo and slanted legal advice.
Well, not with this scandal sheet.
No?
You're looking at a rare item, Steve. That magazine has a very limited circulation. In fact, it never hits the stands.
It doesn't?
Strictly private clientele. Pretty low punching, isn't it?
Couldn't get any lower. And as you say, impossible to prove without cooperation.
That's why the BBB put it in our lap. They interviewed every big name mentioned in the thing, and no dice.
No one ever heard of the magazine or its high-minded editors.
Exactly. That's why Perkins and Marvin let their names top the masthead. They know their victims can't afford to yell blackmail.
No one can afford it, Dave. That's how they get away with this tripe. You could slant a title question on anybody and make them look like Dr. Jekyll.
I know. And those stories surprise you, written with style.
Brett Alistair, Roy Madison. A lot of pseudonyms, probably. Oh, hello, Barney. Come in. You're just in time. We want to hear all you've got on Marvin Perkins Publications and everyone connected with it.
Hello?
Hello, Miss Cameo?
Yes?
Joyce Cameo?
Well, that's right. Speaking.
Oh, Miss Cameo, this is Jim Wesley of Marvin Perkins Publications. I hope I'm not disturbing you at this hour. My editors asked me to call.
Yes, Mr. Wesley.
Well, we heard you were in town for a few days and want to do a featured story in one of our national magazines, Miss Cameo. I was wondering when you and I might get together for an interview.
And to show how any innocent party in the smart set can be involved in such chaos, the popular crooner and his married lady friend were embarrassed by none other than...
Marv.
Oh, yes, Paula.
He's here. He just came in.
Oh, Jimmy?
Yeah, he's waiting in the outer office.
Good, good. Miss Blair, you finished that up, huh? Embarrassed by none other than, some nondescript name.
Mr. Box Office?
That's perfect. Embarrassed by none other than Mr. Box Office himself. Has he got the finished story with him?
He has, right in his hot little hand.
Mm-hmm. Fine. We're all set to roll. Go in. Hello, Jimmy.
Hello, Mr. Marvin.
Oh, Miss Keegan tells me you've got that Joyce Cameo piece finished.
Yes, sir. Here it is.
Now, let's take it right into Mr. Perkins. Any good?
Well,
Oh, come on, Mr. Wesley. No modesty among friends.
I think it's terrific. I mean...
That's all right, Jimmy. I'm glad you feel that way. If the author doesn't, why should our readers?
Of course, the subject matter didn't hurt. That Joyce Cameo is a real fine person.
Well, good. I hope that shows up in here. You coming, Miss Keegan?
Of course.
And, Jimmy, you take off the rest of the week. You got it coming.
You better wait till you've read that.
I'll take the gamble. Take the day off. As soon as this comes off the linotype, Miss Blair will send you a copy.
Well, thanks, Mr. Marvin.
Not a bit. My pleasure. After you, Miss Keegan.
Oh, thank you.
Len, I'm sorry to barge in on you when you're so busy, but young Jim West... Where is he?
The couch. Where else?
What's the matter? A guy can't take a stretch out once in a while? What's all the noise?
The Joyce Cameo feature, Len. You were the one who was belly aching for action.
Oh, the kid wrote it, eh?
1,800 words. All we do is edit a little, put in the picture composite, and we're home.
All right, so relax. What's Paula so glum about?
Oh, I was just thinking that Jimmy's such a sweet kid. I hate to see him learn the facts so fast.
She hates to see him. You won't hate the cash when the cameo doll forks over. My dough's on that.
I know. I was out of my mind.
For 10,000 fish, you'll only have love.
10,000?
Yeah, we're upping this one. It's too simple for 5. Now go on, read me the feature and tell me I'm wrong.
Okay. Let's sit down, Paula.
Yeah, light someplace, will you, and listen? All right, Marv.
Well, he's called the piece Joyce Cameo at Bat.
On a bat, huh? Hey, that's not a bad angle for the title. How does that hit you, huh?
Len.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, go ahead.
You're Joyce Cameo, and you're having lunch with a feature writer. And you're the present toast of the town. Life is wonderful and before you. And something instinctive tells you that this is only the beginning. You're headed for the top. Nothing can stop you, nothing can hold you back. Your first important picture is
Well, there's the magazine, Miss Cameo. You can see for yourself what it is. As Agent Reynolds said, there's no way of our proving you're in store for the same kind of blackmail. But when you were seen with this Jim Wesley...
What about him, Mr. Stevens?
We've been checking on that. His career parallels the other young men on the Marvin Perkins staff, at least so far as we can make out in the brief time we've had. They're grabbed up from small colleges on the promising offer of writing jobs.
I had no idea. Mr. Wesley led me to believe that... Well...
That your feature story would appear in something like Life or Cosmopolitan.
Yes, he did. When I think of how innocent he made himself seem...
I wouldn't judge too quickly, Miss Cameo. The boy could be on the level.
On the level and turn out this slide?
I say could. He may not be, of course. We haven't been able to check far enough.
Have you talked to any of these people, this Dixie Southland or...
They won't help us, Miss Cameo. They'd rather duck the issue than face up to this kind of publicity.
That's why we've come to you. After the fact is too late. But if a prospective victim were willing to help us before the fact, we might be able to break this thing up.
Would you, Miss Cameo?
Huh?
Be willing to help us?
Oh, well, of course I would, only...
Yes?
I just don't see how they could think they could blackmail me. Oh, I don't pretend I'm a shining example of virtue, gentlemen, but I can honestly say there's nothing in my past I'm ashamed of or would particularly want to hide.
We're sure there isn't. Nevertheless,
even the simplest truth can be twisted to come out as heaven knows what.
Uh-huh.
Especially on the printed page with the victim not available to explain.
I'll help, gentlemen. I'll be glad to help.
It means taking something of a risk.
Oh, I'd be in for something more than a risk if you people hadn't dropped in on me.
It also means putting on an act.
Well, I'm an actress, aren't I?
You're more than that, Miss Cameo. We're very thankful.
What do you want me to do, Mr. Stevens?
This Jim Wesley, did he say anything about seeing you again?
No, I don't recall that he did.
Well, he'll be around, or his editors will.
When?
That's hard to say, but I'd count on soon.
We don't want you to do a thing, Miss Cameo. Just wait for them to play their hand. And this time, the play won't be quite so intimate.
Back to Scandal Sheet in just a moment.
Friends, this is Jimmy Wallington. You know, many great men have attained the highest office in our land, the presidency of the United States. Can you guess the name of this man? He was born in Vermont in 1830, and during the Civil War he served as Quartermaster General and as Inspector General. While practicing law in New York City, he attracted attention as a champion of the rights of minority groups in that city. And in 1880, he was elected to the vice presidency under James A. Garfield. Only a few months later, he was suddenly called to the first position by the assassination of Garfield and took the oath of office on September 20th, 1881. His administration proved dignified and conservative and won him the respect of all classes. Well, you should have his name by now, but in case you don't, here's one more important clue. He gave his influence to the strengthening of naval forces during his term in office. When war came along 14 years later, our country was prepared. Yes, he was Chester Allen Arthur, 21st President of the United States. His life is part of your American heritage.
Tonight's story on the FBI in Peace and War, Scandal Sheet.
Hello?
This is Marvin Perkins Publications calling. Is Miss Joyce Cameo there, please?
Well, this is she speaking.
Our managing editor on the line, Miss Cameo. Just one moment, please.
Thank you. Mr. Stevens,
Yes?
this may be the call you've been expecting.
Good. Dave, the extension in the bedroom.
Hello, Miss Cameo. The proofs just came in on your feature layout. Mr. Perkins and I thought you might like an advance look.
Why, I would very much, Mr.
Marvin. H.L. Marvin.
It's very good of you to call, Mr. Marvin. Can I have someone come by and pick it up?
No, that won't be necessary, Miss Cameo. We can drop around with it personally.
Oh, but I couldn't put you to all that bother.
No bother at all. Mr. Perkins is anxious to have your reaction. Would say an hour from now be convenient?
Why, yes, that would be fine.
All right, we'll see you then. Jim Wesley has put his very best writing into your story, Miss Cameo. I think even you'll be surprised when you read it.
Surprised is hardly the word, Mr. Marvin. I'm shocked, really shocked.
I don't think I understand, Miss Cameo.
Don't you?
No, frankly, I don't. Mr. Perkins and I thought you'd be most pleased.
Please?
Didn't we, Len? Uh-huh.
You mean to tell me you actually thought I'd go along with this gross misrepresentation of the facts?
No, just a minute, miss. There is no misrepresentation of anything in my magazine.
Oh, isn't there? I suppose these words put down out of context isn't misrepresentation in this picture.
Well, what about the
Right, hold on now, Len. Let's not fly off the handle. Now, Miss Cameo.
I'm sorry, Mr. Marvin. I'm going to have to refuse permission for you to publish this. Why, if the public ever saw this...
Refuse permission, eh? I like that.
Beg pardon?
No, I'm afraid you can't do that, Miss Cameo.
Do what?
Refuse permission. When you granted Jim Wesley an interview...
I granted him an interview for a decent article in a decent magazine.
Are you intimating that our magazine isn't decent?
I most certainly am.
Okay, Marv, I've had enough. Let's get out of here.
Yes, get out. Get out, the both of you.
I'm sorry, really I am.
Go away, Mr. Marvin, please.
I wish there was something we could do, Miss Cameo, but you see, we've already gone to considerable expense.
Are you coming, Marv?
Well, 1 minute, then. You know, maybe there is something.
What?
What if that were met, Len? If we were reimbursed for our expenditure?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about something we could do. Now, if Miss Cameo doesn't want her story to appear and is willing to make up what we've already put out, we could go along with her, couldn't we?
Well...
we could, couldn't we?
Yes, I suppose so, but...
You expecting someone, Miss Cameo?
I don't know. But I can't see anyone like this.
Would you like me to get rid of them?
Would you mind?
No, of course I wouldn't. You go in the bedroom. I'll tell whoever it is that you're not here.
Thanks. I just couldn't see anyone.
And don't you worry. I'm sure we're going to be able to work out something. Well, you're right, Len. Too simple for $5.
Yeah, 10,000 if we get $1.
Well, come on, let's get rid of this pest. We're into the home stretch.
Right.
Jimmy.
Mr. Marvin, I want to talk to you.
Well, what?
Where's Joyce Cameo? Where is she?
Well, she's inside, Jimmy, but I...
What are you doing here, Wesley?
You'll find out what I'm doing. Miss Blair showed me a copy of my story. She said I'd find you two here.
She showed you a copy?
Of the story and your magazine. And suddenly a lot of things I was beginning to wonder about came very clear.
Oh, they did, huh? So what about it?
So this about it, Mr. Perkins. You're not printing that story.
Oh, he's not.
Not under my name or anyone else's.
Well, you're right about that, Buster. We're not printing the story. We never had any intention of printing it.
Len.
Oh, let him wise up. No punk college kid is going to tell me what I can or can't do.
You had no intention of printing it?
You got ears. You heard it.
You mean the magazine isn't for...
Isn't for what? Publication? You bet it isn't, Buster. It's nothing but a front for the neatest little racket in town, and you're in that racket, Buster, in deep with both feet.
Len, for the love of Mike.
Oh, what's the difference? You said he had to learn the facts of life sometimes, so let him learn. Now, you listen to me, Buster. If you know what's good for you...
Len, hold it.
Huh?
Hold it. What?
Hello, Mr. Wesley.
Miss Cameo, I don't know what these men are up to, but whatever it is, don't listen to them. Don't do what they say.
Jimmy.
Don't, Miss Cameo. Don't do what they say. Don't listen to a word they tell you.
Why, you lousy little punk.
Len. Now, Miss Cameo, if you'll excuse us for another moment,
No, I don't think I will, Mr. Marvin.
What?
I'd like to hear what Mr. Wesley is saying.
Yeah, well, I'd like you to get back in that bedroom until we...
I wouldn't if I were you, Perkins.
What the?
I'd like you to stay where you are. I wouldn't touch the lady. I really wouldn't.
Say, what is this?
Miss Cameo...
It's all right, Mr. Wesley. Let Mr. Stevens handle it. And thank you for warning me as you did. I'm very glad about that.
Now, listen, you, whoever you are.
You heard the lady. His name's Stevens. Agent Stevens, Federal Bureau of Investigation.
What?
FBI?
That's right, Perkins. You and Marvin are under arrest.
Don't talk, Marv. Don't talk. They can't prove a thing.
Yes, I'll bet. Probably got the whole thing on tape. Isn't that right, Mr. Stevens?
Every single word since you walked in this room.
Mr. Marvin, I'm sorry. I didn't know
That's
that...
all right, kid. Forget it. Everybody gets lost up once in a while. Anyway, I owe you something for all this. Maybe an exclusive story of the racket will get you your first real sale.
Leonard F. Perkins and H.L. Marvin were brought to trial on the double charge of blackmail and the fraudulent practice of conniving to publish libel. Both were sentenced to the maximum penalty according to federal law. As a knowing and willing accomplice, Paula Keegan was also convicted and sent to women's prison for a 5-year term, thus removing from circulation 3 scandal mongers and 1 scandal sheet.
In tonight's story, Sharifa Bauer played the part of Joyce Cameo. Walter Grisey was Leonard Perkins. This radio dramatization for the FBI in Peace and War was written by Jack Anson Fink. These programs are produced and directed by Betty Mandeville. All names and characters used on the program are fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. This program is based upon Frederick L. Collins' copyrighted book, The FBI in Peace and War, and the broadcast does not imply endorsement, authorization, or approval for the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Armed Forces recording of the FBI in Peace and War, as it was originally broadcast 69 years ago, September 21st, 1955. Tomorrow on the big show, look for Counter Spy, Mr. Keen Tracer, Lost Persons, Gangbusters, Dimension X, and Superman. And then coming up Monday, Fibber McGee and Molly, Milton Berle, Groucho, and You Bet Your Life, and Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. On Tuesday, the Chase and Sanborn Hour, Father Knows Best, People Are Funny. And then on Wednesday, Mystery in the Air, Night Watch, Inner Sanctum, and Casey Crime Photographer. Look, coming out, it should be out now, a special on Conrad. But right now, a special from Claudia.
In case of enemy attack or grave national emergency, keep listening to your radio. The emergency broadcast system will immediately bring you official information and instructions. Stations will not give call letters, but will identify the area they're serving. So dial around till you find the right one in your area, and then follow the instructions given.
The emergency broadcast system, the successor to Conrad. Now let's see what's going on with Claudia and David. I guess there's bad news out on the farm.
Your Coca-Cola bottler presents Claudia, based on the famous play and novels by Rose Franken. Brought to you transcribed Monday through Friday by your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. Relax, and while you're listening, refresh yourself. Have a Coke. And now, Claudia.
Hey, David, aren't you going to have a second cup of coffee?
What for?
To go with your second piece of toast.
I suppose if I had 9 cups of coffee, I'd have 9 pieces of toast, or
Certainly.
vice versa. How'd you know I want a second piece of toast?
Psychic, because I love you.
Well, that's nice.
That I'm psychic, you mean?
Oh, but you love me.
Oh, David, isn't it a lovely morning?
Oh, it's lovely.
What's
Very lovely.
the
It's raining
difference?
cats and dogs.
Raining, who cares? It's lovely inside. I hope Mama's headache's better.
Of course it is.
Wasn't it a beautiful moon last night?
Ooh, not bad.
I love you even more when you try to be offhandish. You're so funny.
Offhandish. Yeah.
Oh, I feel so good this morning. I don't even mind the rain.
Well, rain or no rain. Off to work.
That is the only blot on the scutcheon.
Scutcheon? You don't even know what a blot on a scutcheon is.
Of course I do. It's a fly in the ointment.
Oh.
You're catching that train every morning is the fly on our scutcheon.
I thought you were going to say I was catching flies every morning. That wouldn't make any sense to anybody, including me.
Well, then you're not as bright as I am.
No, I guess I'm not.
Say, isn't this house cozy in the rain?
Cozy when it isn't raining. That's because it's well insulated.
Beautifully designed, too. We had a wonderful architect.
We did?
Mm. The
Paid him
best.
enough. I couldn't find one I'd like better.
Neither could I.
In all the entire world, I couldn't.
I think we sound crazy to listen to us. We seem to like everything about us and like everything we have.
Why not? We'd be crazy if we didn't. Uh-oh. There's Fritz. Time to go.
Is he driving downtown with you?
No, he just had the car out this morning. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I'm leaving it at the station garage for greasing, and the boy will bring it back.
Good.
Well, let's see, I got
I
my
won't need
keys
it this
here.
morning anyway.
What
And
is
if I do need a car, which I won't, I can use Fritz's truck.
You feel very swell driving around in a truck, don't you?
It gives me glamour.
What did I do with my keys? Have you got the keys?
No, they're in the car.
Oh, Fritz was driving it. I forgot that.
Oh.
Now, don't you come out of the car. You'll get all wet.
I don't care.
Good morning, Mr. Norton.
Oh, good morning, Fritz.
She's all filled up with gasoline. I had her downtown already.
Well, you're certainly up and about at the crack of dawn, Fritz.
Well, I knew it would rain.
Good morning, Fritz.
Good morning, Mrs. Norton.
Hey, David, drive carefully.
Now, since when are you telling me?
Since always.
Yeah, well, I'm not a woman driver.
That is just an accident of birth.
Ooh.
Just because you're a man doesn't mean you have to stick your neck out to get it chopped off. So drive slowly. It's raining. It's pouring.
I told you to skadoodle into the house. You'll catch your death of cold. Now, get
I'll
on.
Skadoodle.
Skadoodle.
If you kiss me a decent goodbye.
Yeah.
Very decent. Mornings are so nice until you leave.
It's the way they should be. Well, let's see. Have I got everything? Oh, I've got to take this back to the store.
Clean handkerchief?
Mm-hmm. Clean handkerchief. Clean nose. See you on the 540.
Clean ears. It's a date. Mrs. Norton.
Oh, I don't mean to interrupt you.
You're not interrupting anything. Good morning, Bertha.
Your mother, I bring her a tray up to bed?
Oh, Mama hates trays. I'll go up and see if she's feeling better. She said it was just a little headache.
She take a tray, hate them or not hate them.
Goodbye, David.
Wait a minute. I can't get the car started. There it is. Goodbye. Now get back in the house, you dope.
He certainly looks handsome in a car, doesn't he, Bertha?
He looks handsome without a car.
As a matter of fact, he even makes the car look handsome. I suppose it's his profile. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
You never change, I hope.
Such a wonderful world.
For them who see it, it is. Even in the rain.
Well, that's because our house is so well insulated.
That is because your hearts are not so well insulated. I prepare the tray now for Mrs. Brown.
Oh, I think you better wait, Bertha. She'll think we're trying to keep her in bed. And I'll go up and see her.
Well, I make out the marketing list, Mrs. Norton. You are going downtown?
Yeah, this afternoon. Mr. Norton's having the car fixed this morning, so we have plenty of time. I'll be down in a minute, Bertha. Oh, and you might make a little extra coffee. I'll have another cup with Mama.
All right. Fritz.
Yeah?
What are you doing? Are you in the icebox again?
Yeah, just for a glass of milk, Mama.
You'll get fat.
No. A man does not get fat on a farm. He just gets healthy and strong, and he stays young forever.
You are kidding yourself.
You are pretending, Bertha, but you feel like I do.
Yeah, Papa. I feel like you do.
Knock wood.
Well, I'm not superstitious. But I pray it will not change.
Just like a woman. They do not want change.
Fritz, what are you going to do now?
Well, it's raining too heavy for me to work outside. I think I go up to the barn. Mr. Norton does not know, but I am preparing it. Painting and rebuilding.
For Christmas, we buy them something to go with the barn.
Yeah.
Huh?
Christmas. Like in our own home, Mama.
Yeah. But we talk too much. Christmas is not for months. Yeah, and now I must prepare a tray for Mrs. Brown now.
Bertha, the telephone.
Ah, the telephone.
Mrs. Norton, she will answer it. Huh?
She's upstairs in her mother's room. It doesn't ring up there. I better go.
No, I go. My English is better than yours.
Oh, that is what you think. I understand better.
Well, talking is more important.
Well, I will not argue.
Good. I answer. Mrs. Norton's residence.
Mrs. Norton. Say, is Mrs. Norton there?
Who is calling her, please?
Say, there's been a wreck, an accident about 1.5 miles down the road.
Yeah?
Mr. Norton's car and George Mason. Oh, terrible smash up. Both cars wrecked.
Yeah.
Fritz, what is it? You look so funny.
Say, will you tell Mrs. Norton? I think she ought to get down here fast. About 1.5 miles down the river road.
Yeah, we come.
And I'd say you better warn her it's pretty bad.
Fritz, an accident?
Yeah.
It's bad. I know.
Yeah.
Bertha, is that the telephone ringing?
Oh, I tell her.
No, I go see about it first alone.
Yeah,
Maybe
that is better. Then you will tell her.
Yeah, I go now.
Hey, I thought I heard the telephone ringing.
What's the matter, you two? You're looking so solemn. Who called?
Mrs. Norton,
Fritz, what is it?
It's better you tell her, Fritz.
There's been an accident. David in the car.
Yeah.
I'm going in the truck.
Tell me, Fritz.
No, that is all we know. Now, you stay here, Mrs. Norton. Fritz will telephone after. Come in the kitchen with me until he comes.
I'll go with you, Fritz.
Oh, no. Better you stay here.
No, I'm all right.
Mrs. Norton, are you sure?
It's almost as if I knew last night. This morning was too perfect.
Here, take my jacket, and the truck is out near the kitchen door.
Well, I come too.
I'll telephone you, Bertha. And Bertha, don't tell Mama. Don't tell Mama.
It'll be all right, I know. It'll be all right, because it must be.
Everything was too perfect, I guess. I'm ready, Fritz.
Fritz, now don't forget to telephone.
Roll up the window, Mrs. Norton, or it will rain in.
All right. How far is it, Fritz?
Well, it's just a little way down the road.
It's the rain. It makes everything so slippery. I had a feeling, Fritz.
Yeah, it is the rain.
I never minded the rain. Fritz, do you believe in premonitions?
Most intelligent people do.
I tried not to believe last night, but there was a moment when it was just like saying goodbye. If it weren't for that moment, I couldn't stand.
I know. Please don't even think like that.
You're right, I mustn't. Drive faster, Fritz, please, drive faster. I see people just a little ways down the road. There's a crowd.
Yeah, that is it. Don't look, Mrs. Norton.
There's a car upside down in the middle of the road. And there's a house. It's smashed against the stone wall. Fritz,
You are all right.
No.
Yes, you are.
I mustn't let go. David wouldn't want me to.
I think he would want you to cry a little.
No.
It is a great and terrible thing that has happened to us, Mrs. Norton. A great and terrible thing.
Hey, what's that there? There's glass all over the road.
Man, be quiet.
Don't let me break down, Fritz. David wouldn't like it, really. He's always so good in emergencies. Fritz, I don't understand. David always drove so carefully.
We will see.
Ask that man.
What was happened?
You're Mr. Norton's farmer I just called, ain't you?
Yeah.
Fritz, ask him, please, ask him.
Where is...
You better step on the gas down at the doctor's house.
Then maybe
Both of them brung down there, and it was all Mason's fault. They smelled liquor on him when they picked him up.
Then it wasn't David's fault.
Where we go now?
Fritz, help me, help me, help me.
Now, control.
No, don't stop the car. Drive quickly. Just get there, Fritz. David, don't let me think. David, please keep me from thinking.
We be there in 5 minutes.
I'm all right, Fritz. Of course I'm all right. I have to be. David knew I'd be. He knew it last night. Of course I'm all right. Of course I'm all right.
Let yourself alone, Mrs. Norton. Let it come.
I don't feel like crying. I just don't feel. Maybe because I've already said goodbye.
That's all right. Don't let yourself think.
Everything changes in just 1 minute, doesn't it?
Well, that is life.
Now you sound like David.
Well, he understands.
Yes, he understands. Now I understand. Everything can change in just 1 minute. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. Except pray. Please drive faster, Fritz.
I happened to be having dinner the other night at a home where there was a teenage youngster. I drove home with the man of the house, and he stopped to buy a case of Coke. As soon as we carried that case into the kitchen, his daughter dashed to the phone, called up some friends, and before we sat down to dinner, she'd cooked up a party. Give young people ice-cold Coca-Cola, and their social life is off to a good start.
Mr. King, you haven't heard from Mrs. Norton or Fritz, have you?
No, not yet.
Oh, the waiting is terrible. I hope when we do hear.
You don't have to say it. We're all
Mrs.
hoping.
Norton is so young to learn such a big lesson.
Now, Bertha, maybe she
Today
won't
she
have
has
to.
learned enough already. Well, I see you tomorrow, Mr. King.
And with good news, I trust.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Bertha.
Well, why don't you come in and say hello to Mrs. Brown, huh?
I think I will, but first I just want to say that every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again tomorrow at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir. And remember, whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes. And ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere. This broadcast of Claudia was supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney.
76 years ago, September 21st, 1948, Claudia on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Sad's part of the story, but it'll always get better. All right, thanks for being with us on this Saturday. Tomorrow we'll have Counter Spy, Mr. Keen Tracer of Lost Persons, Gangbusters, Dimension X, and Superman. And we will see you tomorrow for more Classic Radio Theater. I'm Wyatt Cox.